year during Diwali and Ugadi, Hyderabad. This drive collects clothes, books, toys, and other used or semi-used items for the underprivileged. Contributions from over 615 plus families have benefited around 2,800 individuals, providing essential items and support, bringing hope and dignity to them. Through these efforts, we transform the waste of some into the treasure of others, promoting sustainability and community welfare.
Namaskaram, everyone, and a very good morning and welcome to Vishwa Talks. My name is Trishant, and I thank you all for attending today's event on Zoom and to those watching on YouTube Live. For those of you who have attended a Vishwa Talk before, a warm welcome back. And for our new joinees, here's a little bit about us. Vishwa Talks is a platform to create awareness amongst people and to protect our social heritage and to let people make their own decisions. Here we invite experts to discuss and explore diverse opinions, different perspectives, various issues, problems, and their solutions on various fields, including art and culture, healthcare, environment, education, and many more. Each webinar is an interactive session with a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. If you miss any part of the session or would like to go through the previous sessions, please visit our website, vishwa.org, or Vishwa Talks YouTube channel for a full library of past Vishwa Talks on various interesting topics. Every day, lives are lost on our roads, families shattered, futures cut short. But what if many of these tragedies could be prevented? What if better planning, stronger policies, and the right leadership could truly save lives? Today, we are privileged to have with us someone who is not just working on this problem, but is actively driving change on the ground. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Ashwini Bagga, a passionate road innovation leader and public sector strategist who has dedicated over 15 years of his life to making our roads safer. With more than a decade of experience advising government bodies, he currently serves as the principal consultant at the Department of Transport and Road Safety, Government of Rajasthan. From shaping impactful road safety policies to leading audits, building capacity amongst officers, and designing innovative strategies, his work goes far beyond theory. It directly influences how safer roads are being built and managed today. But what truly sets him apart is his mission, his commitment to saving lives. Through his work as a mentor and facilitator, he continues to inspire organizations and communities to take road safety seriously and act responsibly. Today, we are not just hearing words from an expert, we are learning from someone who is helping build a safer future for all of us. Let's give him a warm welcome. And a big welcome to Dr. Ashwini Bagga to share his insights on road safety, policy, and planning, building safer roads for India. Good morning, sir.
Good
morning again.
Namaskar to everyone who have joined. So maybe start now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Dishan, and I'm thankful to Vishwa Talks for giving this opportunity. So without taking discussion further, so I just would like to switch to my talk so that we can have some time for discussion as well. So I would like to share my presentation with all of you, and just a second. So hope my presentation is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Visible? Okay, great. So as we know that today is our topic is you know that it's very important, and it is a need of the hour to understand what basically road safety is and where we stand and what we need to do. We need to identify what government is doing to prevent these crashes in India, and we'll also talk about the scenario of road crashes in India and how it is affecting our lives. So this will be the agenda for today's talk. So we'll be just talking about the mobility underlying risk, road crash scenario in India, the contributing factors for road crashes. Then few remedial measures we'll talk about, because there are a lot of measures that we cannot consider each and every measure in this single talk. And then we'll have a brief idea of what is electronic enforcement, because this is something new which is coming up, and you might have seen certain developments in this particular area as well. Then certain recent developments has been made by the ministry, so I'll just give a brief idea. And at the last, I'll end up my session with the government schemes, particularly for this from the central government, which has been launched in recent years for road safety. So first, we'll just talk about what is the mobility and what are the risk factors. So if we talk about mobility, so we have different ways of mobility. Though as a person, we also have a concept, because we walk or we are a pedestrian when we are using a road or any other medium. Apart from that, the mobilities that is offered to us, or we have the different mediums, so that includes roadways, railways, waterways, and airways. And if you see, there are certain challenges and there are certain risks which are associated with each and every mode of travel. Because travel is our, you can say it's our primary needs, a necessity. We cannot sit at one place and do all our exercises and perform our jobs. So we have to travel. So there can be several reasons for it. So if we talk about roadways, we have traffic accidents, congestions, weather conditions. So in railways, it is very less often that derailment happens. And if we talk about airways, then we have certain issues like turbulence and technical issues. But if I just wanted to highlight a particular a crash which happened last year in Ahmedabad, if you remember this, I think date was 12th June. 2025. So almost everybody lost their life, was warded on the plane. Only one person who survived, and that became, you can say, the international news, right? But if we talk about what is the scenario on our roads, so I think that will be more shocking, because if we are comparing the incidents which are happening on roads or by any other transportation means, so there is a lot of difference. And that's why it is very important to know how we can prevent all these kind of incidents on Indian roads. So if we talk about the present scenario in India, so this data is issued, or you can say it is published by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways every year. So the last report which was published by the ministry, it was of 2023. So as you can see in this particular slide, so if we talk about the three components, number of accidents, number of person who are injured, and number of person killed in that particular year. So approximately 4 lakh 80,000 accidents were there, in which 4 lakh 62 person were injured, and the number of people killed were 1 lakh 72,890 to be absolute. And if we just you can say translate into another way, that how many deaths are causing on Indian roads per day. So it is, you will be very surprised to know we are losing 474 person every day on Indian roads. So so it is unimaginable. No? So there is an urgent need. So we should control with the 474 people. That's too high for if we talk about India. So meanwhile, if we'll be covering this particular talk for an hour, another 20 people would have lost their lives in crashes. So and interestingly, the ministry also classifies the types of accidents, categories of accident, depending upon the injury that is sustained by a person. So these are four categories of accidents, road accidents I'm talking about. So one is the fatal, grievous injury accident, minor injury accident, and no injury accident. So only difference between a grievous injury and minor injury accident is, in the grievous injury, hospitalization is required for the victim, but it is in minor injury, it is not required. So only the fatal accident, if you count about, there were more than 160 lakhs fatal accident which were recorded in 2023. So, but the recent figure, if I talk about, so because in our the in the talk, it was also highlighted that more than 1,80,000 people are dying. So it has crossed this mark 172 from the 2023. So it has crossed 180, 1,80,000. Though the data has not been published yet, but it is sourced from ministry for the 2024. So you can say the trend is increasing year by year, which is a serious concern for all of us. If you can just go through the last 4 5 years data, you can see if in 2020, in 2019, we were around 1,58,000. When you see a sudden drop in 2020, so that is because due to the pandemic, the COVID pandemic that hit. So there was a restricted movement of vehicles. So, but if you see continuously from 2021, 22, 23, 24, the trend is increasing every year. So, if we talk about the other forms of accidents and compare the road traffic injuries, so there is another report which is published by the National Crime Records Bureau in India. So, they also publish a report every year. So, they basically analyze the different kinds of accidents, not only road crashes. For example, if it is shown in the this particular chart, so that can be causes, for example, accidental fire, electrocution, poisoning, fall, drowning, or sudden death, or some other causes. So if we see the share of road crashes deaths as per NCRB is the highest. So it is 45% traffic accident people are losing life in traffic accidents only. So you can say if we think about the accidental death, this is the biggest cause in terms of road accidents, is the biggest cause for death of people in India in accidents. Just I'll be just playing about more about data so we can have a better insight at what is happening in those accidents. Now we know that how many people are dying. So if we just analyze the data according to the age groups of persons, so we'll just come to know that as per the data available with the ministry, so you can say the major share belongs to the people of age group 18 to 25 years, 25 to 35 years, 35 to 45 years, and 45 to 60 years. So if we combine, I think more than 80% or around 80% of people who are of working age group or the breadwinner for the family, so they are the, you can say, these are the victims. So, and if you see in which particular roads are responsible for a greater share of deaths, so that is also I've included in this particular slide. So ministry has classified roads into three different categories: national highways, state highways, and other roads. So if we talk about other roads also include village road, MDRs, that is a major district road, and other district roads, and rest other roads. But if we talk about only national highways, the road network, that means the share of national highways in India is approximately 3 to 4%, but they account for around 36% of deaths on those highways. So, what could be the reason behind this? So, we will also talk about the probable reason on more crashes on national highways. So, national highways are, you can say, they are more vulnerable in terms of traffic accidents. And since we have also we also know that there are different kinds of vehicles. Our roads have accommodate different kind of vehicles, or we can say our traffic on roads is heterogeneous. So if we have just taken these two categories, but third one we can also include. So who are the, if according to the category of vehicle, so who are most vulnerable or prone to these crashes? So there are three categories I will talk about. One is the pedestrians, another is the two-wheeler riders, third one is the light motor vehicles, which includes cars and taxis. So that is also shocking to know that past from so many years, I've just taken out this data and prepared this analysis. So we can see that the deaths among two-wheeler riders and pedestrians are continuously on rise. So in 2015, where there was only 13,800 pedestrians lost lives, so now it has reached to more than 32,000 people, only pedestrians. So most of the time it is said it is the fault of the driver because he is not driving properly. But there can be other way too. Sometimes a fault of a pedestrian may also lead to an accident. But in India, the as per our the prevailing act, we don't have any kind of a regulation or restriction for pedestrians. And why the number of two-wheeler deaths are more? Because if we talk about the percentage share of the vehicle population in India, 75% people are having two-wheelers, and rest we can just divide cars and other modes of transport. So if you can see, the number of people are depending upon more on their personal use of vehicle. So that is one more reason why our roads are so congested, and there are a lot of accidents that happens with the two-wheeler riders. And we know that in most of the areas where enforcement is not there, people don't use headgear or a helmet, so which is a prominent cause of deaths of two-wheeler riders and pillion riders. Now there is another analysis which I have just tried to show you, that there is a term which is known as severity of road crashes. Now severity means how many people are dying per 100 accidents. So if we can see, there are few states in India where severity is very, very high. For example, if you can see in Punjab or in West Bengal or in some northeastern states, there are few states which have a very high severity ratio. If I talk about the national severity as of now, it is 36% overall in India. But in the some other states, like you can see Rajasthan, it is very high. It is nearer to 50%. And so this means we cannot apply one kind of solution for each and every place. So there has to be some, you can say, approach needs to be different for a different state. So that is the crux of the this particular chart, that is saying that we need to apply, or we think about a different kind of solutions for particular district, or some location specific strategy has to be prepared if you want to combat these crashes. And there can be various reasons for severity, not only explain the how the incident has happened, so how the emergency was, how the response was taken up. So there are certain factors which need to be considered while we are just calculating the severity of a crash. It's not only one problem. So then there is a another issue that we consider, is that is most of the people know that most of the accidents are caused due to human error. But what are the human errors that we have? I'll also explain there are certain other causes of crashes. So apart from human error, so human error basically includes a different kinds of violations, that people are not following rules. So we can just sum up in one line. Then not using safety gear is another example, because a crash has happened, but your life could have been saved if they have used a proper safety gear. So if we just talk about the percentage of fatalities for not using helmet and seat belt, you can see helmet is 32% fatality share for the this particular cause. So if you just think around that, if people start wearing a standard headgear, so this number will drop significantly. Then there are certain other causes, for example, not having a proper license and they are driving a vehicle. Now, there is a flaw in our licensing system. We know that, and there is no proper formal training or kind of education is available as of now in India, in terms of when we talk about road transportation, driving, and basically how we are basically learning road safety and driving. So that is something lacking right in the system. So we cannot blame people out of that they are not doing. So they're not taught to do it. They are not being given that particular education, that what should they do when they are driving, or they are using any particular transport medium. And if we talk about the violation, so one is the known fact that overspeeding is the highest cause of crashes. So that is there as per the ministry, this report. So overspeed caused 68% of deaths in India. So that is one there. So, but other factors are there, very heavy, having very less, you can say, and there are certain other factors which they just clubbed it as others, so which is not clear as of now, okay, what others are included. They have what they have included in others. So that needs to be more clarified by the ministry. Now, if we talk about what is the loss that is caused to a road crashes, so if we ask basically, so someone would say that a loss to a family is the biggest loss. So that cannot be reversed. So that is true. But what apart from the loss which have been done to a family or a particular person, so loss can be of any form, maybe a fatality, or maybe serious injury which involved hospitalization, maybe a permanent disability, or an injury which requires a long period for rehabilitation and getting moved to the normal life. So that is one thing. So a loss to a family cannot be reversed instantly, and death particularly cannot be reversed. So, but there are certain other losses which are incurred when we talk about road crashes. So that we need to understand. It's not only loss of a family; it is loss of the society. It's a loss of the entire nation. But how that loss is, we can calculate, or we can just come across that loss. So if you can see, so there are different categories by which we can place these kind of losses that are incurred due to crashes. So one is the emergency response and trauma care, because if we just see this chronology of an accident, so first thing that we require an emergency as soon as an crash happens. So trauma care, emergency response, hospitalization is required. Then a person who is injured, so that also loses his productivity. So a person who is going to the office daily and doing and earning for his family, so that will immediately break. Then, because road crashes are termed as some, you can say these are the legal incidents, so they're bound with the acts, and the certain legal proceedings are taken care. So they also very costly if we talk about the legal proceeding of the road crashes. Apart from that, there are certain compensations and claims which are passed in terms of when we are dealing with the road crashes. So certain compensation and certain schemes which are issued by the government, and there are certain claims which go to the court, and few compensations or claims which are given by directly by the insurance companies, etc., etc. Apart from that, there is a loss of public property, that can be road, the other infrastructure, vehicle, or goods. So if you just combine all these losses and accumulate this cost of an accident, so I'll just say that for a death, for every death, approximately 3 to 4 crores are invested, or maybe not. I'll not use the word invested. This is the loss which can be calculated in terms of the economy. So most of the times we have heard about the road crashes causes a huge loss to our economy. So 3 to 4% of our GDP is lost in road crashes every year. So that is a huge cost. And it is very important to quote here that now India is a, you can say it's among the top economies it is coming. So we are just thinking of to become a 5 trillion economy in the time to come. But think about that. If our economy is increasing and number of road crashes now keep on increasing, so that loss will also increase. So just think about what are the people outside India would think upon. So whether it is safe to invest in India or not. So that is a big question. So nobody is talking about this. So that is a huge question, because there is a lot of foreign investment is coming. We are investing a lot in infrastructure, but if we are talking about the infra, so we cannot think of losing or losing lives on roads, and when if a new infrastructure is being introduced in India, so that is to be taken care of. So that is very important. Now, what are the contributing factors? Though we have seen that the major cause of accidents involves the human error, but that is not the alone one cause. Because see, when we talk about an accident, there are three major components. One is the vehicle itself, second component is the road, and third component is the human or person who is driving the vehicle. So he is driving the vehicle using the road, and all these three components, so there is an environment in which all these three components are functioning. So there are certain times where things are not in our control, so that we call it as the cause is some environmental factor which caused the accident, maybe bad weather, animals on the road, or some visibility issue on that road. So there are different causes of road crashes, and if you when you see And when we analyze a particular crash, see, what happens is sometimes there is a chain of actions so that contribute to that crash. So there can be multiple factors, there can be multiple contributing factors for a road crash. So that we can only get once we scientifically analyze or investigate a crash. So then we come to know. I've seen an example where I went for a investigation for a crash. Then we have realized that a car or a bus which hit the stationary vehicle, and it caused 15 to 16 deaths on the spot because there was a truck which was standing on the side of the highway. But why that truck driver was standing? So further investigating, it was seen that there was a unauthorized outlet, chaiwala or something like that. So he has opened that outlet which was not authorized. So if we make this kind of investigation, so we come to know what is the root cause. If that unauthorized encroachment would have not been there, the truck driver would have not been stayed there. The person who or the other bus driver who was speeding would have seen that truck before him or have got ample time to stop his vehicle. So there are multiple factors. Overspeeding was one factor. Unauthorized parking was another factor. Encroachment by the local vendor was another issue. And so there are multiple factors which come across so that we can only get when we investigate a particular crash. So as I said in this, so there can be multiple factors, so there can be a combination, so that we have already covered. So now we just talk about, so we have seen there are multiple causes, but how can we prevent? So if we talk about remedial measures, so we will just talk about one thing, which is human behavior. So what are the mistakes that we do? So if I'm just talking about that, there can be multiple reasons, but still there's a concept called Swiss cheese model. In Swiss cheese model, what happens is if all the conditions aligned in a way that it leads to a hazardous situation. So in that there are multiple layers of incidences. So in one incidence, let's say something is, let's say, twisted, so that will not give a chance to happen, that the entire sequence of incidents will not happen. So my point is to, when I talk about remedial measure, if let's say in the previous example I have given, if the bus driver would have been more vigilant, that could have also prevented. If the truck driver has not parked his vehicle, that could have been prevented. If there would not have been any encroachment, that could have been prevented. So in the remedial measures, so what we can do, that we can think of, but because there are, it's not only the cause, that cause accident is not only caused by the driver, sometimes it is the fault of the others. So it is important that if somebody else is uh, creating or somebody else is making a mistake, we should not be his victim. So that is the point. So I'll just cover three or four important topics which we can think of, so that can be very helpful in preventing those crashes. So first and foremost is speeding. As we have seen that most of the crashes involve speeding vehicles, 68% that we have seen in the last year which happened. So how this speeding or slowing down can help in preventing a crash? So there is a study in which it is said, if on an average, if we reduce our average speed by 1%, the chance of reduction in accident, it is 4 to 5%. So that is, it is there in the study. So, but before that, we need to understand what is basically a speed limit. So in very short, I can just tell you, if you are driving above the posted speed limit, so on every road there is a speed limit which is displayed. If it is not displayed, then it is, you can say, it is the it depends on the driver, that he should analyze the condition of the road and how the traffic is moving, how much is the traffic, what is the condition of the road, and accordingly they have to take some judgment so that he can maintain a proper speed, so such that if anything or any emergency can come, he should be able to control his vehicle. So that is it. So speeding is very important concept. So nowadays we can see that there are new expressways and highways are there, but what people are doing, so they are driving as much as they can. So result can be, so if you are driving at such an excessive speed, so there will a time will come where you will not be able to control your vehicle. So that happens. So this is the one important thing. And there are certain other factors or disadvantage which are associated with speeding. So I just wanted to cover in just 2 3 slides. So one is known as the tunnel vision effect. So what is the tunnel vision effect? So I just wanted to explain through this particular slide. Let's say this is a vehicle and the driver is sitting on the steering wheel and he is driving a car. So usually what happens, you should be able to have a larger uh, area in view. So that is your peripheral visual should be larger. So at least if you are driving at a normal speed, you will be able to see 180 degrees of roads. So if anything that comes from anywhere, from the front or from the sides, you will be able to easily control your vehicle, whether you want to slow down or steer out and then change your way and then you can move on. So that can be there. But what happens is if at a normal, it's a scenario of the normal speed. So we have this at a this bar is green. So now we, let's say if we increase speed, so what will happen? Our vision will become narrow, right? So we will not be able to see what are there in these sides, and if we increase it more, it will again narrow down. So your peripheral vision is, you will be able to see this narrow vision. So anything which comes from the side instantly, it will not be visible to us. And by the time we'll know, we'll be hit by that particular object. So that is one important aspect of why shouldn't we speed. Even if the road is empty, and particularly in bad weather and night, where the visibility is very low, it is said that whatever speed we are normally driving a vehicle, let's say on a highway, if a normal speed is 80 kilometers, so in such situation, you should stick to not more than 60 kilometers per hour. So because visibility is a key issue when we talk about speeding as well. Then there is an important concept when it is related to speeding is the stopping distance. Now, what is the stopping distance? Stopping distance is there is a combination of two time basically. So one is the reaction time and one is the braking distance. But so what happens is, suppose at a particular moment, if you see somebody across the road in front of you, so our brain will automatically send a signal and you can say automatically will apply the brake. So in between some time will be gone and the vehicle will cover some distance. So till we react, some distance will be covered, which is shown in this blue. And the when we apply the brake, the vehicle will take some time to stop. So that is known as the braking distance. So combination of two will make the stopping distance. So gradually, if we just increase the speed, so what will happen? This distance will increase. So there is no there is no effective way that you can control your vehicle. It is scientific. Your vehicle will cover certain distance and it is directly proportional to the speed of the vehicle. So nobody can stop it. So it is nothing in our hands. So that is why we should always think about driving at a normal speed, or the speed by which we know that at which particular distance my vehicle will stop. And there are multiple factors which affect the stopping distance. So there could be factors: weight of the vehicle, vehicle dimension, type of the road surface, condition of the road surface. Example is, on the dry surface, your stopping distance will be something else. On a wet road, the stopping distance will be increased. So that is, we should know that. That's why we call it as, during the rainy season, we should drive slow. There is also concept of hydroplaning. Your vehicle tire loses grip when we are driving on the wet road. So condition of brakes, that is very important. Condition of tires, if tires are worn out, so they won't be having that much grip and it will cover a larger area or a longer area to stop. So another thing is which is associated with speed is the turning radius. So turning radius, very simply you can say that, suppose if you are driving at a normal speed and there's a curve, so you can negotiate that curve very easily. So there will not nothing will happen. You will stay in your line. But as soon as we increase the road and we fail to uh, negotiate that particular curve, so what will happen? The force of the vehicle will push you away from the center line, and unfortunately will come into the wrong lane when we are talking about a curve. So so no, there's nothing which can stop this kind of a crash. So turning radius is something which is related to the speed. So we are not basically riding a vehicle on a racetrack. So if you have seen the racetrack, the either in bikers or the cars, so they take a longer turn to negotiate that curve. So that should not be there in on our regular practice. So that is one more cause of one more factor which is related to speeding. So some legal provisions. So I'll not be focusing much on this because there are certain things. So I'll also be explaining that uh, because for every violation there is some legal provision is there in the Motor Vehicles Act. Now the penalty which is imposed for a particular offense may vary from state to state because there are certain you can say sections under which the state is given power to decide their penalty. So they are given a range. So within that range they decide. So and apparently there can be different kind of penalties for different vehicles, and if there is a you can say subsequent offense, the penalty can be different. So I'll also be uh, clearing out this particular topic in another slide. So next important aspect for that is related to our day-to-day life is using a standard headgear when we are using a driving a two-wheeler. So that is again a mandate. So it is said that helmet is to be worn by the rider, as well as if there is a pillion, he is also supposed to wear the standard headgear. Whenever I talk about a standard headgear, means a ISI marked helmet which is covered under the BIS norms. So BIS norm says that if somebody who is selling or storing or manufacturing or transporting the counterfeit helmets, fake helmets, so that is a punishable offense because you cannot, a person cannot sell such kind of helmets, and somebody is doing it's an offense straight away. And if you, there's also a mandate in our Motor Vehicles Act that there's a age group is also defined at what particular age you should provide a helmet to your kids. So minimum age is 4 years. So 4 years or above. So he or she is supposed to wear a helmet. Nowadays, now we have helmets for children available in the market, so that can be purchased for all children. Then a separate safety measure is also has been regularized in the rules. So for 9 months to 4 years. So they suggested a kind of a safety harness. So that can be worn by the parent if he is driving with a kid. So, but people are not knowing this, but there is a concept of a safety harness is there for the two-wheeler riders. And there's important thing that most of the people say that helmet nahi hai ya ghar reh gaya, but you should also know that there is a now the time has changed. Though it is covered in our rules, for every purchase that is made, a two-wheeler when you are purchasing with from the manufacturer or from the dealer, so to the dealer, manufacturer provides a standard headgear. So that is one thing. So whenever you are buying a new two-wheeler, so your dealer will give you a standard headgear which will be provided to him by the manufacturer. That is mandate. So one helmet is now given. And the cost, it is you are not being charged separately because it is also included in the cost of the vehicle. And might be the chances that some amendments will come in time to come where this one helmet will become two helmets. So instead of one, they will be providing two helmets, but still it's not in force. But what we have is one helmet which is still in the practice. So that is given by each and every manufacturer. So that is something which we should know. So another important aspect for safety is the seat belt and airbag. We know that if you are driving a four-wheeler or a car, so that it is we need to fasten our seat belts. So though nowadays we know that there are a lot of vehicle and the vehicle technology has rapidly changed. Many people that buy a vehicle by looking at the safety ratings of a vehicle. Now we have the concept of safety ratings of the vehicles. So now, as you can see, the electronic appliances that we buy, they have energy saving compliance. So it is a 4 star or 5 star or 3 star. So if you're buying a television or a fan or an AC, something else, So similar way, we have a safety rating for four-wheelers. So what happens is, you mostly now you have seen that people are advertising that this car is has got that 5-star rating for uh, the front row the drivers and the person who is sitting at the front row, and the people who are sitting behind on the rear seat. So that is one thing, but that doesn't say that you should avoid the primary safety mechanism which is provided. So that is only the seat belt. So seat belt is the primary safety mechanism in cars. But uh, it is in practice that people who are sitting behind on the rear seat, they don't wear a seat belt. So that is in practice. So that is again, it is mandated by the law, but still we can say it is not enforced properly, and we are just having a kind of a, let's say, uh, leniency is there, so we are enjoying that leniency. So police is not harsh enough so that you are not chalaning the people who are not wearing the seat belt. Now there is another concept. Now, if we have a seat belt, what about kids? So kids below 14 years, or the, let's say, they should also be secured by a seat belt, and if it is not comfortable in wearing seat belt due to their physique, their size, then there is a concept of the seat which is called as the child restraint seat. So that is a additional accessories, and it comes in various sizes. So depending upon the size of the child or the infant, this seat may be bought separately, but it is not in practice, but yet it is mandated by law. Then there is another concept, which is a safety mechanism in our vehicle, which is known as the airbag. So if you have seen that airbag is something, term is also written as SRS airbag. So most of the people, we don't know what is SRS. So seat belt and airbag, they work together and can save life of a person or a driver or a passenger. But the thing is, if the seat belt is not worn, then airbag will not help you in preventing injuries. Rather, it will adversely affect. It may give a person, you can say, a grievous injury if the seat belt is not worn. So SRS itself says that seat belt is the primary safety mechanism, so that has to be used. But airbag is secondary. So SRS stands for the secondary restraint system. So without primary, there is no use of secondary. So primary comes first, and then the secondary will play its role. So it's very important. So if your vehicle is having a proper, even if it is having a 6 or 8 airbags, whatever it is, unless seat belt is not worn, it won't help you. Then there's don't get into the trap of test ratings. So I talked about the crash test ratings, that India has also started giving ratings to its vehicles. For example, if there is a vehicle which is tested in a laboratory in a controlled environment, and based on certain results of the impact, so they give a kind of a rating for the front row passenger and the rear row passenger or the children. So if you see that this particular vehicle has got a 5-star rating for the front row occupants, but if we just go through this concept, that how was this test was done, what speed it was, this test was done. So it is generally done at a speed of not more than 65 kilometers in the laboratories. So it's not the vehicle is not moving at a speed of like 120 or 180 kilometers. So it's very simple. So, but what happens on the road? We see that accidents are happening at a speed of 120, 140 kilometers. So where this test rating will not help in prevention of deaths. So that thing is a very important thing that we need to understand. The safety rating is a mechanism, so life can be saved, but to a certain there's certain limitations are there. So we need to understand those limitations. So this particular test was conducted 64 kilometers per hour. So if that same test is conducted 100 kilometers per hour, the test rating would all be different, altogether be different. Another very important and you can say it's a very alarming situation nowadays is juvenile driving. So juvenile driving is a driver vehicle being driven by the minors. So when minor drive a vehicle, so major tragedies happen. So there is a dilemma because people have a confusion. So I call it as a 50cc dilemma. So what happens is people easily give their vehicle to their kids. Now, supposing that after 16 year of age, they are eligible to get a driving license for a two-wheeler. But that license that we are getting for our kids, for a person who is 16 years of age, so that license has a limitation. A person can drive a motorcycle without gear, which is having an engine capacity of not more than 50 cc. And unfortunately, nowadays there is no such vehicle available in the market which comes with a 50 cc engine. This provision needs to be amended by the government, but still, I would suggest that once your kid is getting attain a age of 18 years and he gets a proper license to drive a vehicle uh, that he can drive. So 18 is the perfect age when a person can drive any kind of a vehicle, whether it's a bike or a car, provided he has got a license for that particular driving the vehicle for that particular category. Now, juvenile driving is very, you can say, it's a very serious offense, because in this offense, the owner or the guardian of the kid is treated as the guilty for the this offense, and the penalty is very high for this offense. It is straight away 25,000. Though it is sent to court, now it is decided by the court that what kind of penalty is to be imposed on the for this particular offense. So juvenile is booked for the offense also, because he is also taken as a you can say a person who will go to the, he has to go with the parent with the juvenile court for the settlement of this particular offense. And there is a another two more you can say aspects of this particular act when we talk about juvenile driving. So whenever such kind of a vehicle is seen or some person is caught, so they will detain your vehicle. So that has to be released from the court itself. And in case there is a provision, there is RC for the such kind of a vehicle which is involved in this particular offense may be suspended for the 12 months, and there will be no license can be given at the age of 25 to the juvenile. So that these are the certain provisions, but how the court is that all depends on the court, what kind of uh, uh, penalties they impose on this for this particular offense. So that depends. But these are the provisions which are given. So we have to take it juvenile driving very seriously. It's a very serious offense, and a lot of people, even kids itself, die when they meet such kind of an crashes on the road. So it's very important to consider. So my take on this कि वो हमारा बच्चा है तो ठीक है, हमारे हमने आपको गाड़ी दे दी, बट थिंक इन another way, because he is your kid, don't give him a two-wheeler until he attains a age of 18 years. So this is the this is just what I wanted to say in this particular slide. Now, since we have talked about certain offenses, because we are dealing with the human errors a lot, so we also need to understand the category of offenses. So in a very short, I will just explain. So in the Motor Vehicle Act, the Motor Vehicles Act, there are different kind of offenses are given. For example, if you're not wearing helmet, not wearing seat belt, drunken driving, overspeeding, dangerous driving, there are so many things, using a mobile phone, jumping a red light. But all offenses are not treated equally, because there are certain offenses by which enforcement officer can directly charge a penalty from you, or the from the driver or the owner of the vehicle. But there are certain offenses by the penalty is not charged on the spot, rather that offense is sent to the court for the settlement. The kind of the highest penalty or the lowest penalty, whatever it is, so that has to be uh, settled by the court. So there are offenses which are compoundable in nature, by you can pay a penalty and the challan can be settled. But other offenses which the enforcement officer, police or transport doesn't have the power to compound the fee for that particular offense, they are sent to court. So those offenses are called as the non-compoundable offenses. So few examples of the non-compoundable expenses are the drunken driving, dangerous driving, or using a vehicle in an unsafe condition, or failure to comply standards for road design or construction maintenance. So this is only for the road owning agencies. So these are kind of offenses which are non-compoundable in nature, whereas these are the some list of the offenses which are compoundable in nature. Or speeding is one, not using safety gear is another, allowing the unauthorized person to drive a vehicle is another one, or driving without a license is another offense which can be compounded directly by the police or the transport official on the spot. As I earlier also mentioned that a penalty in one state may vary from the other state, because there are certain provisions made in the act by which the powers are given to state for which they can decide the penalty, and they can notify the penalty through a gazette notification. It also depends on the category of vehicle. Let's say two-wheeler or LMV, HMV. HMV means your buses and trucks will come in HMV, light motor vehicles. Your cars and taxis, jeeps are covered in the light motor vehicles. And the nature of offense. For example, if I made an offense the first time, you may charge a different kind of penalty. But if it is recorded and you are making a subsequent offense one after another, then the penalty will become higher automatically. So that is also very important to know that. So if there will be a subsequent offense which is recorded, so penalty will be higher. So now there is another term that is we can see that which is uh, experiencing on our daily life, which is called as the electronic enforcement. So electronic enforcement is something by which manual intervention is removed. So you are being watched by the technology. So technology basically captures your uh, video or images. So on the basis of that, a decision is made automatically by using the use of artificial intelligence. And finally, a challan is generated electronically. So those are basically part of the intelligent traffic management system. So which is we call it as ITMS. So electronic enforcement is the one of the component of ITMS. So if you can say traffic enforcement system is one of the parts. So there are different uses of ITMS basically. So it can be used in another way, for example, monitoring the traffic or the route guidance. So those are some other uses. Surveillance, for example. So in the present scenario, what is happening? So you might have seen, because it is not possible to deploy police officials or to do manual intervention for the enforcement each and everywhere, because in urban areas, in the cities, it is possible. But what about highways, where people there's nobody to stop, then the people are driving at a speed or at the manner they want. So now it has become necessary to watch those kind of an offenders. So that can also only be done through the electronic enforcement. So there is a entire you can say SOP for electronic enforcement system that we cannot discuss over here because the time is very short. How the challan is generated, what is the system for challan generation, how we can contend that particular challan. Let's say something is wrong, how can I report it? So there is an entire SOP for that, and there's a timeline for each and every step. But we cannot discuss that timeline in here only. I just can give you an idea what kind of ITMS solutions the government is using nowadays. And ITMS or installation of ITMS or doing electronic enforcement is not just a mere policy decision. It is also a mandate in the Motor Vehicles Act, which was introduced in 2019. So every state now is working on this particular concept, and they have to report to the central ministry that how they are achieving their um, uh, targets for implementing ITMS within the state. So, so it is being monitored at the central level also. So there are certain components of electronic enforcement. So there are certain surveillance cameras which we can see that installed on roads, on junctions, etc. For the speed control or speed management, there are cameras which are installed with there's a technology called as ANPR, automatic number plate recognition. So ANPR means your number plate is captured by this camera, and the number is then sent to the database by from which they get your all the details such that your challan can be generated. So there are other ways of doing this thing that can be done through a speed radar gun. But for this operating the speed radar gun, there's a manual intervention is required. Somebody has to operate it. Then there are certain offenses which can also be covered through the electronic enforcement. The red light violation is also there. For example, for different other kinds of, all it depends on algorithm. So what kind of algorithm we are using with the camera. So it can be red light violation, use of mobile phone while driving, not wearing your headgear or the safety devices, you're not using it, driving wrong side, that is also can be detected. And if there is any incident which is happening on road, which is need to be given an alert, so that is also be covered through these cameras. So for these, we have a integrated command and control center from where all the activities are monitored, and there is a system which works together. So this is a basic idea of the electronic enforcement, but how it is done, so that is why you can say we have to again have to deep dive into this particular concept, how it works. But for you, it is only important that it is now been at various highways it is installed, and certain highways it is in process of installing. So please be watchful, because now there is a also there is a mobile application which is being used by police. It is developed by the National Informatics Center. Name of this app is VOC, that is violation on camera. So you'll not have any kind of a clue that your picture has been taken by the police using his mobile, and he has sent that picture to uh, uh, on the server, as has been uploaded, and everything is recorded now, and your challan is being generated. So there's another concept. So this is also being done in various cities that I've seen. Even I live in Jaipur, so people, police is using these kind of this application for generating challans. So when you are driving, you don't see here and there that your photo is clicked, and you'll never know that you have been recorded. So some recent development which are very important to know for all of us, so what has happened and what is happening, and how government is taking care of this electronic enforcement to strengthen it. Because we know if we a challan is generated electronically, that will also be delivered to us in an electronic form, whether it is form of an mail ID on our email or on mobile number. So majorly it is done through the mobile. We get a message on the mobile. So what happens is, but in most of the cases, if our address is wrong in the system, mobile number is not updated in the system. So what happens? So the number of plans which are generated, so they do not reach to the correct person or the owner. So what for this purpose, what the government has now mandated that uh, every year there will be a drive, and you will be asked to update your mobile number and your details as we do in banks, eKYC for example. So the same feature will be there for there are two databases. So if we know that we can directly do it on ourselves, this facility is given electronically, we can do it either in for the Sarthi. Sarthi is for the driving license and Vahan is for the vehicle. But if I'm having a fear that I'll be caught and I'll be sent a challan, then why should I update my number? If you not do, then what will happen in the future? So once your data is not updated, so this is called as the second stage of this a task, which is called as the sanitization of the database that ministry also has planned. So even if your data or contact details are not linked to your identity, for example, if you have Aadhaar for the identity, and if your vehicle documents are not maintained properly, so in time to come, what will happen? So they will categorize your vehicle into four different categories. For example, vehicle which are properly compliant. So every document is in place and you have updated all the details with your system. Then there is a vehicle which are having certain kind of a discrepancy. Let's say I have not renewed my insurance. So this non-compliance is recorded. So because it is a system, so it automatically filter out those kind of vehicle. Third category of vehicle, from a long time, you will be given certain kind of, let's say, uh, messages are given to you, some notifications are given you, still you are not responding to those. So your vehicle will be put on a temporary archive. Temporary archive vehicle means something is serious about this particular vehicle, and in future his registration, or if it is a person, then his registration or license may be suspended. So then there's a state called as, which is known as permanent archive. Permanent archive means automatically your vehicle will get deregistered from the system. So this is the kind of a sanitization that will be done by the ministry in the time to come. And if we see, as of now, that all the vehicles, only few vehicles are meeting to this compliant stage, and rest of the vehicles, we can say around 20% vehicle are complying, and rest of the vehicles are in the second or the third stage of this non-compliance. So this was the report based in which was published in the Times of India, based on that this has been presented, prepared. So you can see, so now things will change and will be, it's everywhere that will be go to the road and somebody will stop and check. No, it is now it will be done electronically. So it is important that our details and our whatever the documents that are in our vehicle should remain updated, right? So there is another concept you can just see in this particular slide. Now there is a concept of tolls which are changing. The government is already working. I'm talking about the first phase, which has been implemented on national highways, which is known as MLFF, which stands for Multi-Lane Free Flow Mechanism. In you will be driving free flowly on a road without any obstruction, without any toll, and your toll will be deducted automatically from your vehicle, depending upon there will be a system that will be installed. So now there are chances that people will want to pay the toll and they are driving on this corridor. So that will also be recorded. So if there is something this vehicle is not compliant to, or there are certain things that has not been done previously. So for this non-compliance, there is a concept called NTBT. NTBT stands for not to be transacted. So your vehicle will put into the NTBT category. So once the category of vehicle is updated as NTBT, so any kind of future further services that will go for an RTO office, let's say for getting a NOC food, or you are transferring the vehicle to somebody else and you want to review your registration, so those services will not be provided unless and until clear your all your dues and all whatever the pending issues are there with your vehicle, those needs to be clear. Without that, they will not be allowing you to give these kind of services. So that you often go to the RTO offices for uh, getting services. So those services will be stopped for a particular vehicle. Those which are non-compliant or having any issues, that also be linked to the, let's say, pendencies of challan. There are certain vehicles which have multiple challans pending, but they don't show up and don't clear the challans. So there can also be applied on those kind of vehicles. So at last, we just have certain schemes that everybody should know, which can be very helpful for us. So those schemes which are related directly related to road safety. So I'll have just three schemes, and also just tell you when this scheme was launched, what is the purpose of that scheme. So these are the scheme which I'm telling you is these are launched by the central government, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. But there could be some other scheme which can be launched by a respective state. So, but I'm not talking about the statewide scheme. I'm talking about the schemes which are launched by the central ministry. So one scheme is known as the Hit and Run Motor Accident Victim Compensation Scheme. The scheme was launched on April 1st, 2022. Now, what happens is, when you talk about a hit and run, is a kind of an accident in which the hitting vehicle is not identified or recorded somewhere. So let's say an accident now has happened. Now, if a person is a victim, now he want an immediate kind of a help because vehicle is not there. He cannot claim or he cannot register an FIR against a particular vehicle or its owner. So because vehicle is not identified. So in that case, for an interim compensation, the ministry has just revised this scheme. Earlier, it was for death, it was only 25,000 rupees. But now, for a case of a death, 2 lakh rupees is provided to the family of the victim. And in the case of an injury, 50,000 is provided to the either the injured or his family. So that is the scheme. But later on, if a vehicle is identified or he get a claim from any other agency or insurance company or somewhere else, so this amount which has been given already the beneficiary, that will be deducted automatically. So there is another scheme which is known as very important Rahavir Yojana. Rahavir Yojana is basically was launched in 2025 to promote the act of Good Samaritans. Now, Good Samaritan is a person who help an injured or in an accident victim or takes him to the hospital in order to save his life. Though there is a complete act for guidelines for police and medical health and for the other agencies, so by which protect the rights of a good Samaritan. So there is no need that a good Samaritan doesn't has to hesitate or kind of a, you can say, nobody can, there's a no factor which you can say determined to help other road crash victim. So if such person is recognized and if he is willing to reveal his identity to the medical officer or to the police, so his name can be uh, forwarded to the government for a reward of 25,000 straight away and along with the appreciation certificate which is provided. So this is the Rahavir Yojana. So the main reason behind this scheme to prevent such Samaritans who can help other road accident victims such that their lives can be saved. Another important, very important scheme which was launched recently this year, that is PM Rahat scheme. PM Rahat scheme is the Prime Minister Road Accident Victim Hospitalization and Assured Treatment. So in this particular scheme, as soon as an accident happens, the person is taken to the hospital. The medical staff and the police, they have to register this accident as soon as possible, such that the benefit of the scheme may be applied through the system. So in this particular scheme, a cashless treatment for the road crash victim is ensured. So that can last up to the first 7 days of the crash or up to a limit of 1.5 lakh uh, per victim. So if there is a crash and there is an immediate need of a hospitalization, so a hospital cannot say no, but this is covered and police has to take the initiative. But because their responsibility is there, they have to register this case as an accident, and there's a database of EDAR in which the request is generated. So that police has to do such that once the system is this request is generated, so they can start treatment of the victim. So it's very important and can be very helpful in saving lives for the crash accident victims. And this is the last slide by which I would like to end my particular talk. I request Tishanji to just take over and we can have the further round of discussion after this presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a very well prepared, very visually aesthetic presentation, and thank you so much for the infographic graphics you put in it to make it easier for us. Uh, Thank you so much again, sir, for your time. Before we move on to the Q&A, I'd like to just take 30 seconds of everyone's time for a quick poll. This will help us get to know you better and tailor future topics that we bring to you. A big thanks to everyone here today. Your presence and participation means a lot to us, and it makes this webinar a success. While you fill out the poll, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Ashwini Bagga, for sharing his valuable time and insights with us. While you fill out the poll, I would like to mention the upcoming talks so that we can eventually get into the Q&A. We have Dr. Swarnamalya Ganesh, Bharatanatyam dancer, dance historian, professor, speaking on learning the performing arts, love it or need it. This is on 11th April 2026, 11 a.m. onwards. We have Smart Mobility, Sustainable Tomorrow, Powering a Low Carbon Future by G.N. Padmaja, Environment Evangelist, on 18th April, 11 a.m. onwards. We have Simple Ways to Reduce Waste and Segregate Smartly at Home. Speaker is Sheetal Parmar, Executive Team of Gandipet Welfare Society. This is on 25th April 2026, 11 a.m. onwards. We have Quality of Life in Cities, What's Broken and What's Next. Speaker is Sridhar Kabisetti, Senior Director, School of Government at MIT. This is on 2nd May 2026, 11 a.m. onwards. I request all of the participants to quickly interact with the polls. I'd like to now invite Vishwas founder Shivani Mullapudi to commence the Q&A session. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Namaste. It was such a wonderful talk. Like to thank the speaker for talking about this subject, though it looks very a very sterile topic, where so many people are
Just a
losing
sec.
their lives on a regular basis. Little things, when he told me, hey, listen, this is your speed that you're going, and there's nobody on the road, and you want to increase the speed. Have you thought about when you stop, will you be able to stop when you put your leg on the brake because of the road quality? Or if suddenly someone comes, if it's a curve. So when the speaker was very practical and very, the guidance that we received is of great value. And I hope this awareness will save someone's life. Thank you so much. And with this, we'll move on to our question and answer session. Before that, I'd like to thank all the participants for participating. And I'd request all the participants, we are not able to send our WhatsApp to all our subscribers and all the people who are registering. Most of them are not receiving, even though we're sending the WhatsApp, they're not receiving the links. So please share with your friends and family about these talks. They are very important, much needed in today's situation. Yeah. Coming to that, I'd like to ask.
Ma'am, I'd like to request you to hold on for a second. I think the speaker's disconnected for a bit over there. Just a moment.
To the participants, I would like to share that Vishwa Talks is a completely free platform for all the participants. We're doing it only to bring in awareness into our society, to bring in a more stable society, to protect our social heritage. There is no ulterior motive. At a time when most media houses want to put up their own opinions, we're trying to bring a platform where an expert can express his opinion totally, and people can ask questions to get things clarified and each one is free to choose their own opinions on what's right, what's wrong, but to give the freedom of speech to everybody, both the speaker and the participant. So, yes, Mr. Vasant Kumar, you can start your question. Please unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Ashwin, it was a very wonderful presentation, and we learned a lot about it. And there was one thing that was missing from the data you have shown us. There was no data about deaths due to bad roads. Maintenance of roads is also very important, equally important. It's not only DL, it's not only insurance, it's not only, but there is a responsibility of the authorities concerned to see that the roads are good so that these accidents do not happen wantonly. It might be by mistake, because if you want to smear a particular pothole in a road, you will suddenly do it at a great speed and you will get into some problem, accident and deaths. And there are rules about not adhering to rules and regulations. But what are the rules that are adhering not to make the roads good? And is there no fine for not maintaining proper roads or not constructing roads according to the Indian Road Congress? There are
Yeah,
guidelines.
I
Clear.
got your point, sir. So the thing just I wanted to mention over here is because due to let's say we have a time restraint, so due to restrictions, I have already included some part of the data. Though the report which is issued by ministry is very lengthy, and it also incorporates features like how many accidents are taking places like different kind of junctions, like depending on the road condition, the weather condition. So there are multiple factors. It is not possible to include all those factors in a single slide, so that have included, which I felt which are more important to discuss. And regarding your point for the standards of road, yes, they are defined by Indian Roads Congress. And in the year 2019, when the act was amended, so this was introduced as a law. So if any agency or a concessionaire or a contractor or any agency is not maintaining the road as per the IRC standards and some accident happens, which involves a death or a disability of a person, so they are liable to be penalized. So that is there in the act.
That is right, sir.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what are the responsibilities
And
of authorities?
can I add my perspective? You can continue your question. I have been a road builder myself. Prior to starting Vishwa, I was managing an infrastructure company which built roads. And my experience was that there was a lot of already an image about a road contractor, that he's corrupt, that the NHA is corrupt, that the ministry is corrupt. There is an existing opinion which everybody has a reason to have it. I don't have an issue with it. But I would like to give a person who's building the road their perspective. When our company first started building roads, there were hardly any roads in Bihar and all. So a big thanks to Mr. Vajpayee for declaring the Golden Quadrilateral and bringing roads in such a big way to India and bringing it to international standards. But when a road contractor first started, you're trying to build roads and put it in remote areas which are infested by local goons or local mafias. So for a road contractor to make a road with multiple influences on a particular road, one side the government, one side the media, one side local influences, local politicians, in spite of all the money constraints, in spite of all these things, if a road contractor has managed to build a road in Arunachal Pradesh or a border road or a road affected in by any kind of violent places, I personally think, this is my opinion, not Vishwa's, that they really need to be acknowledged, appreciated. And yes, I have seen the roads which are built. They might do 90% of the work. They might not do 5%, 1%, 2%, and which could be a reason for an accident, which I'm not saying no. But in a country which has been underdeveloped, to bring it to this stage, it takes 20 years to develop a project director or a project manager to build an ecosystem to build roads. Unfortunately, in certain governments, that ecosystem has been broken to a very bad state. Many infrastructure companies had shut down at that period because of corruption. Corruption which was unburdened. And it is sad to see when an infrastructure company which puts in 30 years, 50 years, 20 years, builds an ecosystem to build a road. And that infrastructure, that ecosystem is broken. It's sad. And I would like to say that even today, what is happening, which is going wrong in the road construction, is almost all roads which are going for bidding are going at minus 20%. There is no system in any of the government authorities, which calculates what the road costs and actually removes the people who underbid. The system is still wrong. There is still a lot of problems that are existing. And it is a system where we as citizens are creating. We want note for votes. We want money to cash to be paid for the vote. The nexus of the politicians and the infrastructure companies is where the money laundering takes place, is where corners are cut. It's a system where everybody, please unmute yourself. It's a system where everybody is involved and everybody is responsible. And bringing awareness into the system, trying to cut down all this is needed at all levels, from all levels of citizens. Yeah.
Yes.
Can't hear you. Your voice is going and coming.
Hello,
Yes.
can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
You have hit the nail on the head. Perfect. That's the standard way of living nowadays in India. There must be a proper societal improvement in participation, and it should not be made top to bottom. It should be made from bottom to top. You ask me what I want and then plan and do things. And another thing, one more question to Mr. Ashwin. Sir, what about your opinion about plastic laying roads?
Which kind of roads you are asking, sir?
Plastic roads, plastic coated bitumen roads.
Okay.
You know,
So,
the,
see, so I cannot
second.
comment directly onto this particular topic because I'm not related with the road construction basically. So, but I have seen that people are using plastic and they're mixing with the bitumen to construct road. That I know this scenario is going on. There are different kind of research and developments are going on, but I cannot comment on how the quality and about all these things because I'm not related to this construction field, na? So I cannot comment on this right away. Okay, thank you.
Please unmute yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Is your query answered? Sir, we can't hear your voice.
Hello?
Yes.
Problem.
Yeah.
Why
Is- Your voice is coming and going. You need to unmute yourself. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah. Please repeat.
why I'm talking concerned about plastic is there are billions of pieces of plastic lying around in our country and in the world itself. We don't know about the past. We know about the past, it was allowed to happen. We don't know about the future, whether they are going to completely stop manufacturing plastic, SUP, single-use plastics. So whatever that is existing, this can be arrested and made use of for laying plastic roads, plastic coated bitumen roads.
You recommend that it should be done.
Yes, that's what.
Oh.
And it
Oh.
was done in Bangalore and it was a success. But unfortunately, the nexus you mentioned about contractors and long-lasting roads is really killing the initiative. Thank you so much. I wish, wish all the
I
best.
suppose the Iran-US war or Israel war will definitely push people to use plastics now, whether they like it or not.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shmuel, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question? Until then, Naveep Singh.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, please.
You hear me?
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. A very interesting and very important presentation. And I want to ask you, what, according to your opinion, need to be a role of education system in improvement road safety?
Are you saying that in education, what can be done to improve the roads? I mean, can you repeat that?
How education system can support improvement road safety?
Okay, how education system can support improvement? Okay.
So if we are talking about the overall improvement, yes. So we at present we are lacking the formal education in terms of road safety. When we talk about construction, it is covered in the civil engineering. But if we talk about holistic approach, what road safety is, so that needs yet to be included in our curriculum in school and colleges, which is yet lacking. Though certain things are covered, but those are not up to the mark and updated. So there is a need to update this. I think government is also working on this particular aspect, and soon we'll be going to see some remarkable changes in this area. So I think that will come, but it is, though it has taken a long way, but it will come, as I know. Because government is doing in introducing. The states can also do it at their level. So it can also be dependent on the state how they can take it.
Is there any class or any uh, is it in their part of their curriculum to teach them about road safety?
Yeah, earlier we had in Rajasthan, but since there is but the change and happened, they adopted the NCERT syllabus. So whatever they were having in their own syllabus, then what totally it was replaced by NCERT. So now it's time that NCERT in the books in NCERT for, let's say, for a primary kids can be in a different format, but for students of from 6th to 8th or 6th to 9th, it can be uh, included within the regular subjects, likewise in English or in physics, or let's say in other subjects in moral science, social science, and that can be included, likewise even in mathematics. So the questions can be based on, let's say, speed and distance, for example. So this can, earlier there was some questions or some kind of chapters were there, but those have become obsolete now because the technology is changing, the scenario is changing. So according to that, I think the new operating syllabus need to be brought. And similarly for the senior student, there has to be, let's say for the student who just starts his colleges, starts his graduation, so they must be taught about the motor vehicle driving regulation, which is very important. So that covers all the aspects of driving, whether it's a two-wheeler or four-wheeler or any other meeting an emergency situation, what they are supposed to do. Even if there is a vehicle breakdown, it has a entire detailed provision what is to be done at that particular point. So that should be made an integral part of the syllabus for the undergraduate students.
Okay, sure. Shmuel, is it answered your question?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope all are safe out there. Okay. Mr. Mohammed Afzal, please, can you ask your question?
Good afternoon. I would like to thank Vishwa for organizing this particular seminar and Dr. Ashwini for giving a lovely presentation. Our organization, Welfare Organization for Road Safety and Prevention of Accidents, was established in 1971. For 2 decades, I've been representing them as the secretary, and I've been representing in the MCGM Apex Committee for Road Safety in Mumbai. Now, I have got three major concerns. One is the two-wheeler drivers. Now, these riders, some time back, Domino Pizza had come out with a 30 minutes delivery. If the delivery boy does not deliver within 30 minutes, the pizza is free. I took action on them being in the Apex committee of the MCGM, and they had to withdraw this. Now, recently also, there have been a lot of food outlets who have been trending that they will deliver in 10 minutes. Now, we need to understand the psychology of the two-wheeler riders. If they don't deliver within those 10 minutes or 30 minutes, they lose. They have to give the pizza or the items free of cost, which is cut from their salary. Okay, so I force Domino Pizza to withdraw that 30 minutes thing. Now I have also presented my demands to the government for the 10 minutes delivery. This is one thing. 2 months ago, I had gone for a survey. There is a place called Narsingarh in Bhopal. It is 80 kilometers away from Bhopal. It's a national highway. There were no lights. and there were a group of kettles sitting on the road on the national highway at regular intervals. And there has been lot of accidents that have been taking place. So it becomes very important for the state governments to look into this and take remedial action. Uh, Third thing is when we talk about road safety is Samruddhi Mahamarg. Initially, when it had started, there were reports of 3 accidents taking place every day. Now, when you sit in front of the computer continuously, you tend to sleep. This Samruddhi Mahamarg is a highway, national highway, which is totally straight. There are no refreshment places. There are no utilities like restroom. There are no billboards to distract the drivers so that at regular intervals, the driver can, take a break and then move on. So these are very important things.
Of
One more
course.
thing that one more thing that I would recommend is that the government should make every car owner to install a dash cam.
Of course, sir. Yes.
Over to you.
Yeah, thank you for your suggestions. So what I have presented today is just a drop in ocean. So this aspect, or you can say subject, is very vast. So I've just tried to cover what I could do in just 1 hour. Though there are
Absolutely.
issues are endless, and there are so many aspects. If you talk about, there are different, you can say, dimensions of road safety, because it's not a responsibility of a single department. There are multiple departments and there are ancillary departments which are there, which can contribute for minimizing the crashes. And the
Right.
issues that you have raised, they are certainly are in the even the people are raising this continuously, and I think this will be some will take place. That's why you can see that now the government now is pushing for the greenfield expressways, because they are access controlled. And also they are building the amenities on the wayside amenities. They are building on such kind of highways, because on the expressway, these kind of expressway, the access is very limited. So only once you have entered the highway, you have can exit at a particular point. So no in between, you can say, merging or diverging is allowed. So these where we are into a new era, I think. But the problem is there, which
Right.
are already existing highways. So only the
Yes.
major for the removal or the remedial, taking remedial measure is to conduct the audits for those highways and prepare a report and take actions accordingly. The problem is for the older highways, the what is there with the concessionary agreement, so they are supposed to do that much on, so they do not go beyond that their limits. So that has to be revalidated, I think so. So that can make sense, can make changes.
Right.
Thank you so much, sir. The point that you have brought in about the 30 minutes delivery and 10 minutes delivery. I mean, I was thinking 10 minutes delivery, wow, Instamart is giving this. But when it comes from both of you, the perspective about the saving lives, I mean, it makes total sense. Thank you so much for,
Because human lives cannot be quantified.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Ramana Kumar, please unmute yourself and come on spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. First of all, excellent presentation, eye-opening presentation by Dr. Ashwini Bhagat. And what Ms. Revani talked about from the contractor side, I am fully in agreement because I've been associated with the rock crushing industry, and I've interacted with many contractors, road contractors. I've in fact traveled to the Northeast also, to Manipur. So I know firsthand how these issues do affect the road construction. Personally, my childhood was in Zambia in the late 60s and 70s. That's where I started learning how to drive a car, in fact, at a very young age, of course, all within the house and probably within the colony. And of course, then I came to India for higher studies. My first experience of getting a driving license was in Delhi at the Sheikh Sarai RTO. And the first 2 interviews for the driving test, I failed on the road signs and the rules. The third time I went, I was fully prepared. So I got my learners. 2 days before the 6-month term was to expire, I realized I couldn't get a slot for testing. So I went to the Automobile Association of India and fortunate enough to get a test slot. And I, whatever test was required, I passed with flying colors because I went fully prepared. And I was determined not to, go through a tout to get my DL. I was very particular about that. Only because I guess I learned my driving in Zambia, where my mom, she tried 3 times to get a driving license and she failed and she gave up. They were so strict. You'd hardly hear a horn, things like that, like how you find in Europe, for example. So what I find in India is, especially I've seen a test here in Dehradun itself, when a friend's daughter went for a test. The kind of testing that is being done is, to be honest, actually quite pathetic. It's more of a formality. There's hardly any, test for skills, real skills on the road. So this, to me, is a ground zero for many accidents in the country. I mean, this is something which has to be tackled, I would say, on an emergency basis, if the country is really serious. And every RTO needs to take this seriously. I mean, there is no two ways about it. From what I've seen in India is that most people learn how to drive on two-wheelers. And as they grow up and they get money, they then move on to four-wheelers. But as I see, the mindset of a four-wheeler driver is similar to that of a two-wheeler driver. He or she just tries to zigzag their way through traffic. So there's just no discipline. So unless that mindset changes, things will not change. The other thing is, when one says dangerous driving, what exactly constitutes dangerous driving? This is something which is not defined. So I think there needs to be a proper definition so that people really understand what is dangerous driving. There probably needs to be some video shown or explanations given. It's a very wide-ranging term that needs proper definition. And probably to make this effective, I think driving per se needs to be taught at schools and colleges. What exactly is involved in driving? What are the various aspects that need to be taken into account? We just don't have it here. And sometimes even till date, my wife tells me I'm a complete misfit in India because of my background of driving in Zambia. So, but then, that's how life is. You have to take your own precautions, stick to the rules, stick to your lane, and, even things, basic things like indicators, people do not use. I mean, we talk of, in corporates that we should have good communication skills, but on the road, we completely ignore them. I mean, how do we expect others to know if we are turning or changing lanes if we don't give indicators? I mean, these are small things, but they can also cause accidents. So I think there's a whole gamut of issues that need to be taken into account.
Yes.
And yes, Dr. Ashwini Bagga, I think we can go on the whole day, I think.
Yes,
And
yes.
it will not be
Of
enough.
course. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for
So,
the presentation. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to add to your comments that you just gave insight upon the dangerous driving is to be defined. Yes, it is defined. So I can just tell you what is the dangerous driving involved in India as per the Act. So jumping a red light, violating a stop sign, use of a handheld device, overtaking dangerously, driving in the wrong side or in a wrong lane, or driving in a manner which can be dangerous for others or himself. So that is considered as a dangerous driving. So that is covered in the Motor Vehicles Act. So that's combined altogether. And I think this is the only thing that I need to I can elaborate over here. Yes, and another thing which I also felt that in many in industries when we talk about, so this is a kind of an awareness. So we need to have, this is kind of a specialized training for employees. Just like they have for compliances they do, but safety is not in their compliance list, so they don't think of it. Because even if an employee is coming to office and going home back home, so that it is their responsibility. But as of now in India, it is not a legal compliance, so nobody is doing it. So nobody thinks about giving training to employees. At least if you come to training for some, let's say, so they will just ask, "Hey, हमारे drivers को training कर दो." That's it. So even everybody is a driver now. So why we are just talking about the taxi drivers or auto drivers? So we also need to train themselves also. So that nobody is thinking of. So that is a challenge for us.
I'd like to add a little bit here. Sir, are you, Dr. Ashwin, you have something else to say, or shall I?
Yeah.
So this is an extremely important point, Mr. Raman Kumar, that you have brought in. And that is the way licenses are issued. I'm really grateful that you brought this topic up on this platform. What you said is the reality. I don't understand, if a visa processing can be done by VFS Global, why can't government outsource giving away driving licenses? Because then it becomes easy to hold that agency accountable. It can easily be implemented. And the minute a private organization is in charge of giving out license, and if there is a person who's got a license from that particular organization, and in an investigation, if there's an accident, you can blacklist that organization. The quality of giving licenses out will become more scientific, responsible, and accountable. I think what you picked up is extremely important. Thank you. Yeah.
No, not at all. In fact, there was a movie which I saw many years back called License to Drive. It's a Hollywood movie, and I would really recommend people to see it, because it talks about a youngster who actually goes for how he earns his driving license. And of course, we have a long way to go. Two is abroad, when people actually get a driving license, they celebrate it. They actually throw a party, because
Yes.
it's a huge achievement. And here we are sitting at home and getting a driving license without even knowing the basic skills. So there's just no value for a deal. In fact, when I was, I lived in Delhi NCR for many years, and I used to really wonder, how do people drive here? I mean, really no driving sense. But when I went to Hyderabad, I realized Delhi was heaven. And I come here to Dehradun, and it's even worse. Especially wrong side driving. It's become almost uncurable or incurable disease. And nobody seems to be interested in tackling it. So I think this is an issue. Okay, as far as speeds go, I mean, if anyone's traveled on the autobahns, you can see it for yourself. I mean, when we were being driven on the third lane at 80 to 100 kilometers per hour, that was pretty slow. And when I asked my colleague, who was at another time, when he was driving in the second lane at about 150, 160, I asked him as to what speeds we're driving at on the fast lane. So he said, casually, it's 200, 250. I mean, that's normal. But then the kind of discipline they have on the roads is something remarkable. And that's only because of strict licensing. And I mean, I just can't emphasize this anymore. As you also said, Srivani, that licensing is the key issue. I mean,
Yes, of course.
Other issues are there, no doubt about it. Road construction, design, etc., etc. But if one knows, I mean, gets the license the right way, a lot of the other issues can be tackled. I mean, I myself, for example, met with an accident on Howard Bypass because an ambulance was driving on the wrong side. And I had to swerve at the last minute to avoid it. But my car got hit, it overturned, it fell on the roof, and then bounced back on its wheels, facing the traffic coming from behind. But fortunately, there was no traffic, so I survived, and only because of seatbelt and a headrest. So, and we know, for example, Mr. Cyrus Mistry, the only fault that he made was not taking a few seconds to put on his seatbelt. I mean, that's it. It was as simple as that. So, and yet, despite that accident, many people sitting on the rear seat still do not wear seatbelts. I mean, to me, this is criminal negligence. And I don't know, when will people learn that safety is paramount?
Yeah.
Everything else is
In the
secondary.
interest of time, we'll have to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there is a question on there is a statement from Naveep Singh, AAPDA Mitra. I am not very good in Hindi, but I'll read it. सड़कों के बीच में गड्ढे बने पड़े हैं और जगह जगह zebra. Please, can you read this if you can read English better, sir, Dr. Ashwini?
Where it is
No,
given,
it's
I could just
basically
go
he's
through.
saying the zebra crossing has a lot of garbage, and how do we deal with this? This also leads to a lot of accidents.
Yeah, potholes are a major issue, and there's a problem is the maintenance, particularly in the rainy season. So that is one issue. I think the quality of road that is being built or they are being using, so where there's a area which is more prone to such kind of a problem, so I think they can switch over to the CC road. So that can be one option. So particular section of the road can be converted into a cement concrete, so that break even if there is a rainy season or there's a problem of drainage. So that one thing can be done. And zebra crossing, I think they want to ask regarding zebra crossing, but as of I know that most of the crossings were there in the urban area or on the highways, so they are not made as per the standards of the IRC. So there are issues in that.
And speed breakers, are they more
Speed
than
breakers, yes, of course, they are also places they are not at par standards. So on the highway, it's not recommended to construct breakers. So instead, they use a marking called as a transverse bar marking because the highway are made for the the high speed corridors. So all the adjoining roads, approach roads, they must have the speed breaker before merging onto the major road. So, non-standard speed breaker will, instead of preventing, it will cause accidents.
And what about, he also has that footpaths are used by hawkers. What do you have to say on that?
Encroachment, again, this is a big issue because
Yeah.
we don't, actually in India, roads are built for vehicles, not for pedestrians. We don't have pedestrian-friendly roads.
Yeah. What's the reason and what can we do about it?
That starts from right from the land use planning. It has to be started from there because when the road is a new road is constructed, so first thing that happens is the encroachment. So there is no you can say there's no enforcement for stopping encroachment. Once it is done, so it is very difficult to remove the encroachment. That is the issue. So that has to be done. So we are lacking at least enforcing such manpower should be available for enforcement for removing encroachment. And law and order situation is sometimes very difficult. So police help of police is also required in such cases. But it's to be, I think, eradicated as soon as they realize that some encroachment is happening. Because once there will be a one vendor, then there will be a second, then there will be a third. So there's a huge line of vendors. So that will be encroaching that road. So now it is difficult to all of them.
Yeah.
So there's a
But it's not
proper
just encroachment, even the footpaths are not properly
yes. They're not properly constructed. So now I think government has given even there's some cases that some PILs are running. They are in the process where the state governments have been given directions to remove encroachments and give proper infrastructure for pedestrians. You've seen that there are a lot of pedestrian accidents and their deaths of pedestrians are increasing day by day because
Yeah.
we are not having proper infra for pedestrians.
Right. So another question is, what are the government authorities, NHAI, uh, Ministry of Road Transport, and the state governments, which are these authorities which are in charge of road safety, PWDs, state PWDs,
Okay.
municipal corporations? So which are these
So,
organizations?
so I'll just talk about what is the institutional mechanism in India for road safety. Now, because there is a number of departments which are involved in road safety, that includes police, transport department, all the road running agencies, that includes PWD, NHI, and others. For when we talk about trauma care, we have medical and health department. Education, we have college education and school education, and there are certain other departments. Now, to coordinate with all those departments, it's necessary to nominate one department which leads the activity for road safety. So there was a writ petition that was there in the that's still running. It is this 295 of 212. So after that, the several judgments have been passed by the Supreme Court, and there was a major judgment which was announced in 2017, which it says that every state should have a proper institutional mechanism and there should be a lead agency for road safety. So, in few states, it is led by the transport department, and in few states, it is led by the police department. So, these are the two major departments. So, they act as a lead agency for road safety.
Mr. Arun Kumar Srivastava, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And I patiently listen to ma'am also, Mr. Speaker also, and our participants also. Somewhere I put on the chat, I repeat it again. Addition to what sir has presented, there is a topic called defensive driving.
Of course, there is.
Yeah, and this is a major one. And now if you, sir is already in this field, now many companies are asking for this kind of training.
Yes, I
And
know.
I'm also one of the trainer. So the point is, the people available for this kind of training doesn't know anything about driving. They are experienced in first aid training or something, but they get this job. So what kind of training they can provide? So defensive driving, if done properly, definitely will solve some of the issues, and definitely, because I feel our job is not supposed to be only training. It is a social
Yes, of course.
engineering.
It is
Job.
connected
It's
with the
my
social.
responsibility. It is our responsibility. And second thing, yes, there are many issues, I understand, but we cannot forget being a responsible citizen. It should start from myself. I
Yes,
should start from myself, that I will teach my son, because my son is driving, my second son also. Without safety belt, they do not start the vehicle because they say that they see their father. Yes, there are difference of opinion happens. So this is one thing. Second thing, I heard ma'am also, as a road contractor point of view, understand there are issues, but again, they are also supposed to do their own conscience. Whatever they can do, must do. Now my point, two examples I want to share. I just want to your opinion on that. One is I live in Gurgaon, so we have a KMP Expressway, very famous one. KMP Expressway, some portion are no more tolls are taken. So those roads are very, very badly maintained. Nobody maintains them. Potholes are 1 feet depth, lot of liters are going. So nobody maintains those one. Second thing, we have a very good place called Sariska in Rajasthan.
Yes.
So there is a road from Alwar to Sariska. Last 3 years back, I went. There are a lot of potholes. Almost 3 years back, this month we tried to visit there. Again, my friend from Alwar said, "Sorry, sir. Again, it is same pothole. 40 kilometers cannot drive." Even though we have two, forest ministers one from state, one from central belong to Alwar. So the point is, I'm asking is, what is the recourse available to a general public for these kind of condition? Because once the concessionaire period is over, nobody is
Yes.
charging toll. Who will take care of the road?
So at
And
least
the
yes, sir, that road must be owned by somebody, some road owning agency, maybe PWD, or if it is a forest area, then it's be owned by the forest, or if there is any other agency, so they are responsible for it. The road
but
to
what
it
is the
belongs.
recourse? We don't
Yes.
have any recourse.
So it cannot be possible that somebody is not having ownership. So they must have been having an ownership. So they are not taking interest in that. So that can be a separate issue, but that is their responsibility.
Sir, we have to move very quickly.
Yes.
We're running short of time. Yes, there is a person who owns that road, an agency, an authority who owns that road, and they are accountable for it, and they do have funds. So there has to be pressure on that particular authority to improve the road, number one. Number two, as I already told you, no road building contract should be given at minus 20%. There has to be change in policies on the way road contracts are being given.
Actually, all the new roads which are being awarded for the contracts. So they have a provision of doing road safety audits in all 4 stages. So that is the design and during the construction, after the construction, and before opening the road. So that covers the compliance of all the safety measures.
Please unmute yourself, sir, Arun Kumar. Yeah.
No, I got it. Point is, okay, they have the responsibility to maintain the road. So we have to complain, find out them and then complain them on what? There is no recourse. Where should we go and complain? Sir, do this.
Local MP
That
or
local administration, you can go contact to the local administration. For example, a road is counted in the Alwar district, and Alwar district has to manage. So even in the districts, there is a district road safety committee which is headed by the district collector. So they can
Yeah,
take
this is enough.
account of yes.
Thank you, sir.
Stanu
Okay,
Gupta,
welcome.
can you unmute yourself quickly and ask, because we're running out of time? Please be
Hello.
precise, not more than 20 seconds.
Yeah. My question is like why government is not providing any reward to good drivers? Because that people are not understanding that if they will driving good on the road, so they should get awarded like insurance discount kind of the things, and lots of improvement is required like that. If I'm driving a car or bike in the highway or any road, so there is no limit I can drive. 6 hour continue or 8 hour continue. After that also I'm tired, but I'm driving. So there is no mechanism to calculate this kind of the things. So that is my question. Why government is not looking into this part?
So I've got two things from you. Then one is why we don't have a system for rewarding the driver. So as of now, it has been taken care by the some private fleet owners that I have seen. So they have a system for drivers. So kind of incentive they give for their good practices. And certain tech companies which are taking on record because they have some kind of a devices which can be installed in the vehicle which can track the driver behavior, and they can give the kind of a rating to the drivers. Third thing is if you can take the aggregators for like as an Ola and Uber, so there is a driver rating available. But yes, there is a need of a government system where this can be clubbed together. Another thing is you asking for this the mechanism for recording the time period of a driver. Yes, we have a mechanism, but it has not been enforced. So there is a device called a tachometer. It can be installed in any commercial vehicle where the tracking for driver time is possible. So that is available.
Okay, sir. The one more thing.
We are running out of time. We'll have to give everybody an opportunity.
Okay.
So yes. Mr. Sanjay, would you like to ask your question? Mr. Praveen Chandra, would you like to ask your question? Be quick. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, Ashwini,
Good afternoon.
Shivani, and good afternoon, Ashwini Bagaji. See, we have done a lot of work on the road safety. Now, where we lack is every year and year, the number of accidents and number of deaths are increasing and is not decreasing. Though we have tried to do so many things. So after noting this, in 2019, I went on a road trip, 19,110 kilometers in 58 days, staying in the black spots and studying how it is taken place, why the accidents are taking place here, based on my experience as an insurance surveyor and loss assessor. Then we found that, see, every driver says, sir, gaadi ja raha tha, jol mara. Why? There is a defect on the road.
Yes.
He was moving perfectly for 100-150 kilometers of road, but at one split, his vehicle gets out of control. Why? Some बोलते भूत था, भूत भी नहीं था, कुछ भी नहीं था. The road was, there was a defect on the road.
Yes.
So I documented about 60 types of road defects that are causing unsolicited road traffic deaths and crash fatalities for no fault of the drivers or the no fault of road users. Then ultimately I run that mission in my own under the title Mission Advanced Road Safety 2019 to 2024, and the PMO accepted that, MOR accepted it, but Nitin Gadkari was not ready to accept it. Okay. Then I made him to say it in the GRIS 2025 that yes, there are defects on the roads that are causing unsolicited road traffic accidents, and that's why we are not able to bring it down. So my request is, my Mission Advanced Road Safety 2019 to 2025 should be extended to 2025 by many NGOs to see that the defects on the road that causes unsolicited road traffic accidents and deaths should be brought down to zero by 2030. The other factor is 17.5% of the accidents are taking place because of the defects on the road, architecturally defects on the road. So it's a Mahindra Bolero that is stopped after my book is published. Now there is one more car, Gurkha. Gurkha is yet to be stopped, but in villages we need such vehicles. And technically I could not prove it because in all the accidents, though the deaths were 15, 16, 20 on that vehicles, again this 9-seater or 13-seater vehicles. So we could not prove it practically. So this has to be stopped. So I request all the NGOs to jump into this factor, these two factors: unsolicited, unscientific road designs, improper traffic infrastructures. Where there is a circle is required, we have a junction. Where the junction is required, we have a circle. And
agreed.
And improperly laid roads, and architecturally defective vehicles. Unless otherwise you do this, we will not be able to bring down the road traffic accidents and deaths than what it is. It will, because with the increased number of kilometers of highways, so it is going to be increased instead of decreasing. That's what I did it for 7 years in my own money from what I earned for 7 years. Now it is not in my financial ability, so I stopped it on the 31st of March, day for yesterday, 3 days back. So my request is all NGOs should continue this. Thank you, Bagaji, for your presentation. Thank you, Shivani, for organizing this. God bless us all.
Yeah.
Safe driving, happy driving.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking that pain to check the road defects and sharing, especially with your own personal money. I had a question on insurance. What kind of insurance is mandatory and what kind of additional insurance should people take?
Yeah. See, basically, this law says that you should have a basic insurance for the third-party property damages. That is called ACT policy. From 1991 onwards, the third-party insurance is called ACT policy. That covers the damage to the third parties only. But if you want to cover yourself, you have the personal accidents embedded in the same policy, plus in the own damage policy, which is quite expensive. So that's totally called as a package policy. One should go for package policy. Here, factor is, see, it's not only the vehicle, not only the third party, even your life is very important. When you meet with a serious accident, then your family will not get anything other than life insurance, whereas you get money in this insurance also. So one should go for a package insurance policy that covers everything.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Health insurance, is health insurance covered? Term life, does it cover everything or?
No, health cover is entirely different. It comes under general insurance.
So we need third parties taken, Personal,
Yeah.
you're saying to say, and motor
Yeah.
insurance?
Own damage, it's called own damage policy is taken.
Yes.
Okay, that entire full package is called package policy.
Package.
Health policy is entirely different,
Okay.
entirely different than the motor insurance policy.
Okay,
So
got it.
nowadays, the vehicles are having a longer insurance. So for the first year, they have own
Yeah.
damage. For the rest
Yeah.
of the year, they have third-party
Yeah,
insurance.
3 years is
Yes,
mandatory because
3 years.
yeah,
3 years is
they
mandatory.
wanted to cover the
So
premium so that their kitty is
yes,
filled to
yes.
give the old claims, pending claims.
So
That is
the
not,
vehicle
that's
owner
not
has
correct.
to
Yeah,
vehicle
that is
owner
not
has
correct.
to
Actually,
yeah.
it is not correct, sir. It is not correct. It is a crime by the Ministry of Finance. They should not do that. See, if they don't have the money to give the previous claims, they cannot charge the 3 years premium in advance. That is wrong. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's wrong.
But what is not correct, sir? I didn't understand.
See, now in the new when you buy a new vehicle, the comprehensive insurance own damage policy is for 1 year, but they made the third party insurance, they're called Act
For
policy,
3 years.
mandatory for 3 years.
3 years.
So you are paying the premium for 3 years in advance, whereas the own damage policy is only 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah. So many people think that the entire insurance policy is
So they
valid
have
for
a
3 years.
yes, yes, yes.
And
So
they
there's a
don't get the claim on
misconception.
the second and third year on their own.
Of
Now,
course.
government, why should they make like this? Taking the premium 3 years in advance. They wanted some money. They wanted to fill the kitty to get the previous claims. So they made this, which is not correct at all, which is wrong.
Got
I had
Even
objected
people,
this to me.
even people
I-
don't know. So many
Yeah.
in many cases it happens. So after 1
Yeah.
year, the vehicle
They
is
don't
launched,
renew
or they
thinking that the
yes.
policy is for 3 years.
Yeah. So
And they
they are
don't
just
get their
thinking that
own damage
policy is
claim.
working.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if the vehicle meets an accident and there is a bank loan, they go bankrupt.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us on the insurance part. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Jai,
Thank
Jai, Jai.
Mr. Krish, please be quick. It's a shortage of time.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, as I'm a student of undergraduate, I'm doing my civil engineering presently. I have to ask one thing, as we are studying about the highways and everything, but why in our education system does in civil engineering, especially in civil engineering part, why we don't have the part of the traffic? Means if we are constructing some highways, we should be making the मतलब क्या बोला आप लोग को बताए मतलब ट्रैफिक रूल्स को भी हम लोग को जानना पड़ता है ट्रैफिक रूल्स जैसे जेब्रा क्रॉसिंग बनाएंगे कुछ भी बनाएंगे उसको हम लोग इंक्लूड नहीं होता है हम लोग का सिलेबस में बट ये तो हर स्टूडेंट को जानने के
मैं
लिए
आपको बताता
जरूरत
हूँ उसका देख क्या है सिविल इंजीनियरिंग कोर में अगर आप जाएंगे तो सो यू विल फाइंड समथिंग डिफरेंट बट व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट द डिफरेंट स्ट्रीम विद इन द सिविल इंजीनियरिंग ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इंजीनियरिंग so many things are covered in that and so once you have done civil engineering so you will just gradually will come to know when we talk about road constructions so engineers need to follow IRC guidelines which are available in the forms of manuals which are published by IRC for each and every requirement. So where detailed guidelines are given for everything, even it is a pedestrian crossing or as a median or something else or toll management. So everything is there. So something which is not included in the entirely civil engineering. So you have the different manuals for civil engineering available with IRC. So even if you are at this age, you can refer to IRCs. So that will enhance your knowledge.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bagaji, this is Inderjit Ghai from Chandigarh. I have seen many presentations on road safety in which you have shown some very specific issues which I have never seen. My question is, you mentioned about the non-compoundable issues, that if the road is not constructed properly. So where to approach, how to approach if the road is not constructed, where action happens? And secondly, has any action been taken by anywhere, sir?
It has been taken. So majorly it is either when the investigation for an accident happens, because in the act it is clearly mentioned it is applicable when a crash has happened and it leads to some kind of an injury or some disability or death. So it has to be recorded by the police in their FIR. So this section has to be mentioned, 198A of the Motor Vehicle Act. In that, the party can be the road concessionaire and the contractor can be made a party. So then it will go to the court.
Okay, sir. Is there any single platform if some volunteer wants to submit his complaint that ये प्लेस ऐसी है जहां पर ब्लैक स्पॉट बना पड़ा है, एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा और उस पर एक्शन भी हो, ऐसा कोई पोर्टल वगैरह है सर?
नेशनली अवेलेबल नहीं, बट स्टेट्स के अपने अपने हैं. So if you can have such kind of an facility where you can log in any complaint. So, for example, you are rather than a Jansampark portal where any complaint or any citizen can log a complaint easily related to any department.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Please ask your question.
Hello,
So,
ma'am.
and
Am I audible?
yes, yes.
Ma'am, this is Sudarshan from Madhya Pradesh Police. I am sub-inspector level equivalent officer and learning a lot to listening all of you. And my preferable language is Hindi. If I am allowed to speak in Hindi,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बोलिए सर.
I will be more
जरूर.
comfortable to express
जी जी,
myself.
हिंदी में बताइए सर.
Thank you so much. मैं एक्चुअली ट्रैफिक जो डिपार्टमेंट में हूँ मध्य प्रदेश पुलिस में,
जी.
और इतने सारे लोगों को सुन के, एक्सपर्ट्स को सुन के बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखने को मिली है. और मैं लर्नर हूँ और साथ ही इन्फोर्समेंट एजेंसी का एक पार्ट हूँ. तो मुझे बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखने को मिली है. अल्टीमेटली मुझे ये समझ में आया है इतने सालों की मेरी सर्विसेज के दौरान, स्पेशली इन ट्रैफिक पुलिस में काम करते हुए, कि इन्फोर्समेंट तभी बहुत सही तरीके से हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंट कर पाते हैं जब उस एरिया में या उस एरिया के लोगों में सिविक सेंस अदर अदर जो एरिया से ज्यादा होता है और थोड़े ज्यादा एजुकेट होते हैं. वो हमको बहुत ज्यादा क्वेश्चन करते हैं कई बार जब हम लोग उनका चालान बनाते हैं या फिर उन पर इन्फोर्स करने की कोशिश करते हैं. बट दे लिसन, दे अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वी आर स्पीकिंग एंड व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू टेल देम. तो मुझे ये समझ में आया इतने सालों के एक्सपीरियंस में कि सिविक सेंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, ट्रैफिक एजुकेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और वो तब नहीं जब किसी का लाइसेंस बन जाए, तब से ही जब किसी घर में कोई बच्चा पैदा होता है और अपने माता पिता को देखता है हेलमेट लगाते हुए, सीट बेल्ट लगाते हुए, गाड़ी स्लो स्पीड में या कंट्रोल्ड स्पीड में ड्राइव करते हुए, किसी पुलिस ऑफिसर की बात मानते हुए, तब हम लोगों को बहुत ज्यादा सुविधा होती है किसी भी कानून को इन्फोर्स करने के लिए. कि छोटे बच्चे जब अपने घर में सिविक सेंस देखते हैं, समझते हैं कि ट्रैफिक लॉ फॉलो किया जा रहा है, तब वो फिर बड़े होके वो फॉलो करते हैं. तो हम लोग भी उस तरफ काम करते हैं सिविक सेंस बढ़ाने में, स्पेशली इन ट्रैफिक फील्ड में और एजुकेशन के फील्ड में. तो ये एक पार्ट है जो इन्फोर्समेंट को बहुत हेल्प करता है, एजुकेशन और ट्रैफिक सिविक सेंस. थोड़ा सा इस पे आप रोशनी डालें और हम लोग और क्या बेहतर कर सकते हैं इस फील्ड में, अपनी तरफ से अपना पार्ट क्या दे सकते हैं. प्लीज एजुकेट मी और आपके जो भी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू बता दीजिए प्लीज.
थैंक यू सो मच. भोपाल मेरा कई बार आना हुआ है, अनफॉर्चुनेटली आपसे मीटिंग नहीं हो पाई. अनगिनत बार भोपाल आया हूँ मैं ट्रैफिक के सेशंस के लिए. और जो आपने बात बताई है कि हाँ, ट्रैफिक पुलिस का काम, देखिए प्राइमरी काम मैं मानता हूँ उनका काम ट्रैफिक मैनेजमेंट है, एनफोर्समेंट दूसरा है. हमें एनफोर्समेंट इसलिए करना पड़ता है कि जो लोगों में जो आदत बन गई है, तो उसकी वजह से हमें एनफोर्समेंट करना पड़ रहा है. और रही बात एनफोर्समेंट की, तो एजुकेशन और एनफोर्समेंट दो अलग अलग चीज़ें हैं, दोनों बहुत ज़रूरी हैं. एनफोर्समेंट आपका इमीडिएटली काम करेगा जब आपको लगता है कि यहाँ स्थिति ये आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल जा रही है, तो वहाँ पे एनफोर्समेंट ही आपका एकमात्र चारा है उसको, उस स्थिति को कंट्रोल करने के लिए. एजुकेशन लॉन्ग टर्म में प्ले करता है. तो दोनों चीज़ें बहुत ज़रूरी है और दोनों का सामंजस्य बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. और दोनों चीज़ें आप साथ साथ चलने वाली चीज़ें हैं ये, कि हम केवल एजुकेशन पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं रह सकते, हम केवल इन्फोर्समेंट पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं रह सकते. ये लोगों को समझना होगा कि अगर उनको एक कंट्रोल्ड जंक्शन जहाँ पे ट्रैफिक लाइट लगी हुई है उसके बाद भी ट्रैफिक को रोकने के लिए अगर उनको पुलिस वाले की ज़रूरत है, ये गलत है, ये वेस्टेज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज है. जब आपको
Exactly.
ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल करने के लिए ऑलरेडी लाइट्स दे दी गई हैं, तो आपकी ड्यूटी वहाँ खत्म होती है, आप कहीं और जगह अपनी अपनी ड्यूटी दे सकते हैं जहाँ आपकी ज़रूरत है. तो ये चीज़ हमें लोगों तक पहुँचानी बहुत ज़रूरी है.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. और लास्ट पॉइंट मेरा एक और अगर आप
जी
एड्रेस कर सकें इसको.
जी
सोशल मीडिया इसमें सर एक बहुत बड़ा पार्ट प्ले कर रहा है, स्पेशली इन रोड एक्सीडेंट जो बढ़ रहे हैं और यूथ में बढ़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि एज ग्रुप है तो सबसे ज्यादा रोड एक्सीडेंट्स का जो हादसों का शिकार होता है. और उसमें इंक्रीज इसलिए और ज्यादा हो गया क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया में स्टंट्स वगैरह और ये सारी चीजें बहुत ज्यादा फ्लैक्स हो रही हैं. तो उनको लगता है कि लाइक्स के लिए, व्यू के लिए ये सारी चीजें हम लोग करें.
सोशल
तो
मीडिया
इसी
के
वजह से
सर बिल्कुल पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स दोनों हैं सोशल मीडिया के।
एग्जैक्टली
तो ठीक है, अगर हम सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू अगर आपकी जो मध्य प्रदेश की पुलिस है अगर कोई मैसेज लोगों तक पहुंचाती है तो बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन उसका एक एडवर्स इफेक्ट ये भी देखने को मिलता है कि अगर हम यूथ को इन्वॉल्व करें इसी मैसेज को डिलीवर करने के लिए तो एक इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा। आप इन्फ्लुएंसर्स को जोड़िए, जो आपके लोकल इन्फ्लुएंसर्स वहाँ करके हैं उनको उस मुहिम के साथ जोड़ें, तो इसका एक अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स आपको मिलेगा। और कुछ लोग अच्छा करने के चक्कर में गलत काम कर जाते हैं। एग्जाम्पल के लिए मैंने बहुत से ऐसे शॉर्ट वीडियोस देखे हैं इंस्टाग्राम पे, यूट्यूब पे, जो अच्छा करने के माध्यम से वो रोड पे कुछ साइन बना देते हैं या कोई मार्किंग कर देते हैं। अब उनको नॉलेज नहीं है कि वो सही है या गलत है, और वो सिर्फ अपने
एग्जैक्टली
पॉपुलैरिटी के लिए वो ये अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। तो उनको एजुकेट करें, ऐसे लोगों को ढूंढ के एजुकेट करें कि जो आप कर रहे हैं ना ये आपका इंटेंशन नहीं है, नॉलेज नहीं होने की वजह से इम्प्लीमेंटेशन गलत हो रहा है। तो
बिल्कुल
इस तरह
सही।
की चीजें कर सकते हैं आप,
सही है
सोशल मीडिया
एक्चुअली।
से ही
हाँ,
ढूंढिए लोग ऐसे।
सोशल मीडिया एग्जैक्टली सोशल मीडिया के दोनों ही चेहरे हैं।
जी
एक एनर्जी। हाँ, हम लोग एक्चुअली खुद कोशिश करते हैं सोशल मीडिया पे खुद बताने के लिए। आई एम ऑल्सो कंटेंट क्रिएटर, अपने कोर्सेज भी बनाता हूँ, कंटेंट भी बनाता हूँ।
जी जी जी।
लेकिन कई कई उस पे ज्यादा एप्रिशिएशन से ज्यादा उस पे नेगेटिव कमेंट्स आते हैं कि पुलिस खुद रूल्स फॉलो नहीं करती है और हमको बोलती
बिल्कुल
है कि रूल
आएंगे, जब
फॉलो
पुलिस
करो।
अगर नहीं करेगी तो, जबकि मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट में बिल्कुल आपके लिए तो ये सख्त प्रोविजन है कि अगर आपने हेलमेट नहीं लगाया है तो आपके तो 2000 का चालान है। आम
एग्जैक्टली
आदमी का
होना भी
1000 का है,
चाहिए।
आपका 2000 का है।
होना भी
तो
चाहिए, और
ये
मैं बिल्कुल उसको
बिल्कुल
सपोर्ट नहीं करता कि पुलिस हेलमेट ना
वो
पहने या रूल
इसीलिए
फॉलो ना
किया
करे।
है कि एटलीस्ट एनफोर्सिंग एजेंसीज तो फॉलो करें, सो
एग्जैक्टली
दैट
और
वी कैन
उनको
प्रोपेगेट
एग्जाम्पल
मैसेज।
उनको
जी
एग्जाम्पल सेट करना
जी
पड़ेगा, तभी
जी।
लोग जाके उनको देख के फॉलो करेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच सर, आई हैव लर्न अ लॉट।
ओके,
और
Quick,
थैंक्स अ
थैंक यू
लॉट
सो
फॉर
मच।
दिस।
question, Sudarshan ji.
यस
आपको
प्लीज
how
मैम।
get to know about this talk and why did you join it?
मैम, आई एम स्क्रोलिंग माय इंस्टाग्राम, so I just saw your poster or link, and I just connected and registered myself.
Thank you, sir.
ग्रेट।
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's a great experience for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Shubham Bharia, please unmute yourself. Sanjay, yeah. You need to come on video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, sir.
गुड
Thank you
आफ्टरनून।
for such an uh, thank you for such an insightful session. I'm working with EVA Digital Screens here in Jaipur. So, I really found your point about gaps in our awareness very relevant, specifically how about road safety is not just enforcement but also education and continuous reinforcement. Just adding one layer from what we are observing on ground, along with awareness, the challenge seems to be habit formation in real-time situations. Since we operate digital screens across the city, we are trying to use that attention responsibly, not just for advertising, but for public communication. For example, we are working on integrating number plate recognition where people can actually see their pending challans or violations reflected in real time, making it more immediate and personal. Along with that, we are also exploring short safety messages and positive reinforcement for people who are following rules. So my question is, how can such real-time communications layers be aligned with policy and infrastructure efforts in a way that they support road safety effectively without becoming intrusive? So, I would really value your guidance on designing this responsibly, like marketing campaigns
First
and
of
messaging.
all, I just wanted to know, Jaipur में, which are the locations where is your screen is installed?
Sir, right now we are expanding and we have at multiple locations,
Can you
like
just
in
name one or
Jagatpur.
two locations?
We have in right now one screen at Jagatpura and
Okay,
multiple screens on the Tonk Road, which
fine.
connecting to the what we say Ajmeri Gate. So we have multiple screens on that road, and
Okay, the one
we
that I've
are
seen in there is a junction called Riddhi Siddhi. So there is a what the 3D kind of a screen.
yeah.
So it's you are operating that?
Yeah.
Okay. So because I live in Jaipur itself, I'm a Jaipurite. So my route this Riddhi Siddhi when I go to the office. So I daily see this particular screen. So that is I think very effective. And इस पे एक road safety का message आता है. We have seen that. There's one. I think there is one some kind of a poster, some this kind of a for road safety message. There is a message I've seen on the road safety. इससे मैं सिर्फ एक ही I have an opinion that wherever this screen is installed, so make sure that is a junction where there is a traffic light. So where only people can see when they are stopped. So कभी भी ऐसी रोड पे तो नहीं होना चाहिए जहाँ पे movement continuous है. So that will going to distract. Or the second thing comes to the if you want to have a kind of a policy intervention. So all these things I think they are covered by the municipality act. What are the billboards, advertising, outdoor media. So ये उनके अंडर में आता है तो उनसे अलाइन होता है या नहीं आपका ये you have to check.
सर अभी उस पे थोड़ी रिसर्च चल रही है, जैसे हम मुंबई की साइड में देख रहे थे तो वहां पे रूल्स हैं कि ओपेसिटी की कलर बैकग्राउंड क्या रहना चाहिए, एंड उसके साथ में सर
उसकी
अभी हम
इंटेंसिटी काफी हाई होती है, ल्यूमिनोसिटी बहुत ज्यादा हाई होती है, ब्राइट बहुत होता है स्क्रीन. उसको भी देखिएगा कि रात में तो बहुत ज्यादा वो आंखों को चुभता भी है. दिन में ल्यूमिनोसिटी अलग हो या तो वो जिसको हम कहते हैं ना कि ऑटो एडजस्टेबल मोड होना चाहिए उनका, जैसे मोबाइल होता है ऑटो ब्राइटनेस. तो दैट काइंड ऑफ सेंसर कुछ उसमें होना चाहिए कि रात के टाइम थोड़ा सा डिम हो जाए, ड्यूरिंग द डे वो थोड़ा हायर पे चला जाए, क्योंकि इसकी विजिबिलिटी डे में अच्छी रहेगी.
सर हम इम्प्रूव कर रहे हैं विद फीडबैक्स
जी
के
जी.
साथ में कि क्या क्या
नाइट में
प्रॉब्लम्स
बहुत
आ रही
ज़्यादा
है
इशू
हमसे.
होता है जब, क्योंकि अंधेरा हो जाता है उसकी ब्राइटनेस वही वही रहती है, तो बहुत ज़्यादा उसमें आंखों को असर पड़ता है. जी.
ओके सर, थैंक यू
Sir,
सर. मैं आपसे बाद में कनेक्ट करता हूँ कैंपेन से रिलेटेड.
Mr.
Okay.
Sanjay, please ask
हम
your
इस पे
question.
working.
Please be brief, take only 20 seconds.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
This is Sanjay Sasani, Principal, IDTR Pune. Basically, it is an institute formulated by the Ministry of Road Transport and jointly working by CRT and Tata Motors. My suggestion is we have already provided some details for the school books for the education purpose. So for cultivating the road safety knowledge from the school level, we shall train the teachers. A training program for the teachers shall be started so that how they can train the students with their regular curriculum without taking an additional efforts. Just like Newton's law, Pascal's law, these are the things related with the syllabus, and through that syllabus they can train the student so that the student will understand the subject very well, and also the teacher will not feel the load of additional subject. IDTR will help in developing such type of course. Second suggestion, peer pressure helps a lot amongst the youngsters. So we can develop the road safety clubs in the schools, in colleges, and where we have got many of the colleges, lots of colleges having mechanical engineering, automobile engineering. So these colleges, if at least start training their own student per month for the two-wheelers, as two-wheeler syllabus the government has declared after almost 40 years in the CMVR. So starting the training in the school colleges will align just like a developed countries graduate licensing scheme, and automatically the percentage of the knowledgeable motorist on the road will increase. That will help, and the compliance will also increase. That will help the
Limited in your time because we're over
yeah,
time.
that will help the enforcement agency to do their job in a most effective manner. That's all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. We really look forward to seeing your curriculum and we wish that it goes across the country. Mr. Jayesh Shah, please unmute yourself quickly and ask your question.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Good
Namaskar,
afternoon,
Jayesh
sir. Higher speed, overspeed is the major cause of road accident and fatality in India or globally. Then why manufacturers are not restricted to make manufacture overspeed or higher speed vehicle? As per my view, if it is a car that will be 140, that is sufficient, and two-wheeler, that will be 70 to 80. Why can all our nation, not India, they are allowed to manufacture high-speed vehicle and allowed to fly on the road? Some countries like India, we have no more than 150 kilometers road available over here.
ये
Why
सवाल कई
anybody
सालों
is
से चल
flying
रहा
there?
है आप जानते हैं ये सवाल हम कई सालों से सुनते आ रहे हैं फ्रॉम मेनी इयर्स और जो मेरे को ओपिनियन है उसमें एक ही चीज़ मुझे पता लगती है कि जो मैं कह सकता हूँ कि sometime there can be some kind of an emergency situation where you have to run, but that's not should be a regular practice of overspeeding. नहीं होना चाहिए। सेकेंडली कई सारे जो व्हीकल्स हैं हमारे उसमें हम एक्सपोर्ट भी करते हैं, तो ये रेस्ट्रिक्शन आने के बाद में आई थिंक वहाँ एक एक्सपोर्ट में भी प्रॉब्लम उनके साथ क्रिएट होगी। तो स्टैंडर्ड्स जो हमने ग्लोबल फॉलो किए हुए हैं, बट जो हमारी रोड की कंडीशंस हैं वो उस हिसाब से नहीं है कि हम इंटरनेशनली जो स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं उनको फॉलो करके जो रोड्स तो बना रहे हैं, बट रोड्स में इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं कि हम उतनी स्पीड में अगर व्हीकल चलाएंगे सो इट विल क्रिएट एक्सीडेंट्स। तो ये कुछ चीज़ें हैं आई थिंक इनमें हर पर्टिकुलर फोरम पे ये सवाल उठता है, इन एवरी फोरम। तो बट ये एक जायज़ क्वेश्चन है, बट जहाँ तक मुझे समझ में आता है इसका रीज़न यही है कि उनको एक विंडो दिया है इनका ताकि इमरजेंसी में वो यूज़ कर पाएँ, बट इट शुड नॉट बी अ रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस।
मतलब रेगुलरली इमरजेंसी में यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं।
इमरजेंसी कहीं पड़ जाए तो यूज़ करे, कोई ऐसी
Flying.
इमरजेंसी हो
Sir, we
उसमें
have to
यूज़
move
की
in
जाए।
the interest of
Yes.
time, sir. Dr. Ashwini has answered your question. Vasant Kumar ji, you have only 10 seconds to ask your question.
Okay. Thank you.
No, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I want to know why authorities, road repair authorities, wait for rains to start their repairs.
Can you repeat?
The road repairs
Huh.
are being done only after the rains. The nexus should be broken. When there is identified roads, they will wait for rains to start and then issue work orders, and work done is substandard. They should rejig the entire tendering process so that during summertime the road gets tarred or between plastic road is laid and properly it gets settled. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think this is a policy issue. I cannot answer it right away because it only depends upon the government or the particular departments that are taking care of.
Generally, what I
Yeah.
know is roads when they are constructed, the next 10 years, the same contractor has to maintain the
Yeah.
road.
10 or 5 years.
Paid for it. And probably what the government can do is they can start a policy where they can allocate certain roads which are most prone to damage due to rains to certain agencies ahead of time. There is ample money in the municipalities. If the corruption can come down, yes, this can be done.
Like tendering takes a lot of time. Basically, the time is gone. So
Yes.
then the road is
5
constructed
years,
in
5
another.
years, they should be
Yes.
able to.
Money is spent, but road is bad.
Yes.
Every time it happens.
Yes.
But thank you so much. Very
Thank
nice. Great.
Sir, can you unmute yourself quickly, ask your question? You've got 5 seconds.
No.
I have a question while he is asking. What is AI's role in this whole thing, sir?
And
See,
enhancing road safety in India.
can be brought into road safety. There are people who are drunken driving or driving for long hours and they get to sleep. Suddenly, if there is an object coming in the front, there are certain cars where brakes are auto put.
So
they can be
there are-
bought car
There are
manufacturers.
multiple dimensions where AI is being used in vehicle technology, and that it is being used by several IT or tech companies. So they are doing their way, for example, assessing the road conditions, and then evaluating the road furniture, that is road asset that we call it as. Third thing is can be used for auditing the roads. That can be done. The vehicle, it is also already been used that we know that advanced driver assist system, which is called as ADAS. So there are different technologies which are coming up in the vehicles. Electronic enforcement is the one part, ITMS. So that is completely AI based. So there are multiple domains where AI is being used for improving road safety.
Yeah. No, but can it be bought into road manufacturing? Can it be made a policy that they should bring in AI into?
It can be. There's possibility. Possibility is always there.
Okay, all right. Mr. Siddharth Luhar, would you ask your question? I can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself.
Please unmute.
Muted.
Yes.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Greetings of the day to all of you. We had a very useful session on this, and this kind of an awareness should be created. More and more number of people should participate. My one or two questions which are there actually. One is that nowadays vehicle we are using LED lights, which are very dangerous actually. When you are on the opposite side, it's very dangerous. I find it very practical difficulty, even in a small street or a bigger street, maybe in spite of the divider being over there. So, and people don't use it in a proper way. We see in the normal traffic, they are using high beam lights over there. What's the purpose in doing in the high beam lights in the cities? We can understand on the highways are concerned, but in the cities, it is not advisable to utilize this thing. High beam or low beam also is concerned. Normal tail lights are more than sufficient in the cities are concerned actually. And secondly, my second point is the private vehicles like Ola, Uber, they drive it very rashly actually, zigzagging the cars and everything is concerned. And practically a person who's following the rules and regulations of the traffic, they get distracted actually while driving thing is concerned. So we need to emphasize more and more awareness should be created. And recently, one more point is that recently in the social media, there are a lot of ads coming across. I copy, paste and forward it into my social media is concerned, making people aware of the traffics are concerned, pedestrian crossing is concerned, overdriving is concerned. This is what I do from contribute from my side that is concerned. Right? Thank you. That's all I wanted to contribute, sir. Thank you.
So I can just tell you for the aggregators point of view, I'm just telling you. So these companies like Ola and Uber, they are doing nothing in terms of safety. I have a live example, but how I tested it. I registered myself as a driver in Uber. No communication from them how to what to do about road safety. Though I'm not taking rides, but I've seen them, so there is no contribution from their side. So it has to be pushed by the government. So they should give proper training to their aggregators, not only Ola, Uber, all the aggregators that involve in food delivery, parcel service, or any other kind of service which is using their two-wheeler. And third, the second thing that you asked about the lights issue. So what people are doing, so instead of this, so since they are not getting ample light from the original OEM, which is OEM light, the equipment provided by the manufacturer. So what they do, they buy high intensity lights from the market, which is an offense. And now Supreme Court has already issued directives to the states to take strict action against those vehicles. Although retrofitting is a offense, so it's a serious offense, but this is why it is so serious, because it's causing road crashes, and they're also posing health issues on eyes of the other drivers.
Yeah. Suparna, please unmute yourself and ask first. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Suparna Sarkar. I run a motorcycle training academy in Gurgaon. It is called Star School for Training of Aspiring Riders. And for the last 8 years, I have been training people the safe way of riding. What I have realized over the years is that the challenge is not the motor skills, like people don't know how to ride or say drive. The challenge here is the awareness of how should be their conduct, which is equally important on the Indian roads. That is highly lacking. So many peoples over the years, they learn motorcycle riding from various sources, because in India we have established driving schools, we do not have ample riding academies, and that's why people just learn from verified unverified sources, maybe their friend, uncle, brother, father, and they're out on the road. They purchase a motorcycle and they're out on the road. Now no one has told in between that yes, for changing a lane you should use on indicators. As a beginner, or say on a two-wheeler, you should preferably stay on the left side of the road. You should keep ample gaps. So that is the reason why there are so many crashes and mishaps. And probably if we look at the stats, the number of people we would have lost in COVID, the number of lives lost every year to these crashes, be it on motorcycles or cars, that might have surpassed. And people blame drivers very less. Like they would say, oh, when it comes to like being a woman riding or driving on the roads, I've realized this, that there are a lot of apprehensions and myths about how women drive and ride. If it's a woman, they tend to say, oh, dekho ladki chala rahi hai, so just stay cautious. If it's some male, which is in most of the cases, they blame the vehicle. Creta drivers, Thar drivers, Scorpio drivers, isn't it? However, we need to understand the machine will not move an inch unless we give them the certain command to start, stop, at what distance to stop, at what speed to drive or ride. Hence, this awareness, this training has to be emphasized and made mandatory. I've been listening to all these conversations, but at the end of it, every individual has to be made aware that these are the things to be done while they are sitting inside a vehicle or they are riding a motorcycle, so that their lives are not at stake. I usually use this example that whatever happened in Pahalgaon last year, unfortunately, 26 people lost their lives. Do you or I play a role in that, in saving that? Probably we could have not. If there is a natural calamity like cyclone or say flood, famine, and people lose their lives, not avoidable, it is nature. If there are people losing lives due to terminal illness like cancer, AIDS, or so, can we stop that? Maybe not. But accidents, people driving or riding on the roads and not making back to their home, that is totally avoidable if each and every individual takes it on themselves that we will follow these rules. But since there is not much awareness about it, hence it is being done. So policies, activities, all rules can be made, but if the individual to follow it is not taking charge of it, it will keep happening the way. Every time we step out on the road, we don't know whether we'll be making back safe. Around 2 years ago, I was hit by a car from behind while riding a motorcycle, and I couldn't do much because being hit by behind, you can't actually enact. So, what I feel is from last 16 years of motorcycle riding, it is not the machine, it is us which commands or controls the vehicle, and hence uh, we have to create these systems around us. The education should not be just about the road safety, but also what should be the conduct as soon as you sit on the motorcycle and you turned it on, or as soon as you sit inside the car. What are the things you need to take care of? Not just the motor skills part of it, but the road sense part of it is equally important.
Agreed, agreed.
If I can associate, if I can contribute and c- come as a team with any one of the people here on this conversation or meeting, I'm very happy to share my insights, because every single day I'm training new and new people. There are people who have been driving since years, still they lack a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
And they think that, and educating school children, college children, it is easier because then they're open. But with adults, they are very rigid. They
And in the
barely
interest of
would
time,
take this.
we'll have to close this. We will definitely reach out to you. Pratisha will reach out to you. We'll come
Sure.
out with schemes and awareness programs with your support, if that is
Sure.
okay with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
I really
definitely.
appreciate a lady coming forward and talking about such things. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great
Thank
to
you so
hear you.
much.
So I'll also join your Riders Academy. I own a motorcycle.
Nice. That's very nice to know.
All right.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah.
Okay. With this, I'd like to thank. I mean, I really didn't expect so many questions, so many people raising hands, and so much of interest in this subject. Dr. Ashwini Baga, it was a great talk. Thank you for being patient in answering everybody's question. There are a lot more on the chat box, but in the interest of time, we'll just make a note of them, give it to you, and we will mail it to all the people. Yes.
So
Thank you.
I'm also very delighted to have this session with Vishwa Talks. So thank you so much for providing this opportunity and platform to interact with all of you. It's what a great experience for me also.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you to the participants for being so
Yes.
actively involved to create a lot of awareness, putting forward your views on the subject. And thank you to Vishwa Talks team, excellent organizing. Yes, With this, we close the meeting.
Thank
So
you so much.
join the direct link that is sent to you.
Okay, I will.